AI is, that's been a falling disaster. I mean, I could have picked Palantir. That's what won me this whole thing last year with up 160% last year. Let's see if we can beat that this year. It's 11 o'clock.
Oh, it's already 11 o'clock. Okay. It's 11 o'clock. Sean's going to be joining the midday at 1:45?
1:40-ish.
Yeah, 1:40, last 15, last 20 minutes of the session. But for now, we're going to have some fried chicken, which is somehow Canadian. It's not. I don't know why they put a Canadian flag. And some mashed potatoes with gravy. We'll let you know how it goes.
You know, Kentucky Fried Chicken, man, it originated in Canada. You know, Kentucky
I don't understand why they put the Canadian flag for that. Obviously, it's more of an American thing. But that's cool. It'll be delicious because they do a good job. And then we'll send you to Sharif, Joe, and a little bit later, Sean. Then we'll be back at 2. And we got after the bell earnings on Rivian and Coinbase. So action-packed rest of the day. Go get a midday.
Yeah.
And the small caps suck today, bro.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, uppercut inside. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. And I'm Sharif. And bleed, Netflix, bleed. Go to 0. Let's go, baby. 5% and a fifth. I couldn't be more pleased about the blood in Netflix right now. Shout out to Why Not. Joey gets distracted. Irvin. We got Uptown Pigeon. Shout out to Papacito. Gaming TV. We got Lemon Family 1320 Wolf. Steve Davis and Jay Walkin. Shout out to Ryan Hurt and Chris Trades. Hangry Wife joining us as well. You're our homie. Appreciate you, Hangry. Yummy Thai Foods, Osk, Justin, Fahan, Stock, 5067. We got Randy Worms, not our Randy, but Sahil, Gooner Forever, my man.
What?
There
no,
you
bro,
go.
Whoa.
What happened, Joey?
Whoa. You don't say that first word that you just...
Oh, Gooner? Gooner is for gunners.
Okay,
Like for Arsenal, you call them Gooners. Yeah.
Right.
Relax, bro.
All right.
Let the soccer people talk over here, Joey. He's watching hockey, by the way. Trade 0604. We got 808. Binja. Shout out to Sana. All right, I'm not even going to try. Durant Gordon. Who else, man? We got Laurel, Jesse, Low, 6, Joe. Credleg. Shout out to Mohammed Saladin. I was about to say, I was like, whoa. NorCal Granger, Dexter Smith joining us as well as Eliza. Who else? We got Wendy's, Tendies, and Party B. Shout out to Dan Allen. Anil Buy Low, Sell High always gives me a chuckle. A lot of blood in the morning. A lot of blood this morning, Joey. Good morning.
Absolutely, man. All right, so... I mean, a mixed bag for me here this morning. Not really anything going on just yet. FSLY, I think this thing's going to start to tank eventually. We take a couple times on the short. I just got out a little bit too early. I was checking to see if I needed to order any this morning. So this is like 5 shares, literally. And I couldn't get out. I kept trying to get out, and then I had to wait until the open to get out. So cool stuff over there. And then this was essentially a small loss, small win on FSLY. By the way, I hope everyone's having a fantastic one. Team Canada going on right now as well. A lot of missed opportunities on my behalf. It was a funky morning for me. Out of routine, had to do a couple things. And like a crazy amount of traffic hit the Village this morning. So I'm like, man, oh man, it's gonna be one of those days. So.
What happened, by the way, with that?
Dude,
what was the
from
situation?
Strawn, nothing, just volume.
Just
from Strawn all the way to my building 85, backed up to get out. It took me 25 minutes to get out of the Village this morning.
All right, brother.
And it takes me less than 20 minutes to get to the office. So yeah, there it is, guys. These are the names that I have on my radar. FSLY continuing to move a little bit lower. It looks like it wants to break this lower end of the range. Have to wait for one more pullback, but there's a couple missed opportunities here on ASTS by me to the downside, and then same with SMR. Looking for a couple neckline breaks. Even if you're gonna have 1576, you're continuing to move a little bit lower. So we'll be patient and wait for some opportunities. Once again, very, very small red, and I'm gonna need an A+. The market is tanking. Haven't even looked at the big boys either. I heard Netflix is continuing to move a little bit lower here, guys. I haven't seen what NVDA, what Microsoft, the Apples, the Teslas, the Googles, the Metas. I want to focus on some of these other names here right now because I think the opportunities are going to be there. If we fail to construct a new high here on FSLY, then maybe we get up in around this range, $15, a little bit more, and then maybe we can get that break eventually. If it's going to be really strong and put in that additional leg, you can see we're starting to form that bull flag on the 10-minute. If it decides to break, then so be it. It's really strong. I am going against the grain on this name. totally fine. It makes things a little bit more difficult. Again, just going with the notes here. So we got to deal with those consequences, right? It's easier to go with the short, especially when the market is absolutely tanking down to 49.66 here now, Sharif, on the TQQQs. Let's see how far off we are on the Nasdaq actually after those highs. Man, oh man, let's take a look on the daily before we send it back to our boy Sharif. 636, we're down 4.8%, closer to 5%, so nothing to write home about just yet. Just in a consolidation zone, 640 to 600, Condor land. If you get below these support levels, collect a little bit of extra premium, you're gonna be having a good time for sure.
All right, guys, let's get right down to work, baby, because there's a good one. It's called Chow. It's up 107%, but it just lost $1. And it is, unbroken in the downtrend. So first and foremost, this one did make a move yesterday at around, I think, 5 to 6, so 5:55. It looks like that's when the majority of the action started happening. There was a little bit move at the close, but it did, from the closing print to the aftermarket high, this thing was up 82%. So it had all sorts of strength in the aftermarket. The good news is, we took out yesterday's high at around 85 pennies pretty easily today, and even before the bell. We took it out in the pre-market. The problem is, though, it looks like the best trade is behind it. And look at the candle here that causes the reversal. Basically, a neutral candle. Anytime you see yellow on the volume bar or yellow on the actual price action bar on my black charts, that means the opening price and the closing price were the same. So equilibrium here between buyers and sellers. That's where the equilibrium ended. And then all hell broke loose to the downside, and it's been an unbroken lower low, lower high. It's a downward channel. You know how we're going to do this, right? We're basically going to wait until this downtrend is broken before we get back in. A couple of things you can do if you want to get ahead of the game. Volume weighted average price at around 93 pennies. So what I would submit to you guys, you build a position in and around 97 to about 92.5, maybe even 90. You want to build it around there. And the point is, you're looking for a hold of the volume weighted average price. You don't get a hold, you stop out. Okay? But I would not suggest you put your stop right below VWAP. You got to give it a little bit of room. So that's one way to get in. And then you're obviously looking for a VWAP hold and a downtrend break. Other, more conservative traders, like myself, they're going to wait for a decided and I don't want to say conclusive, but a very clear break of that upper trend line. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. One, you can wait for a couple of candles to close above it. Two, you can wait for, a prior area high to get taken out. To me, that's like 108, 109. On a closing basis, that is. That's kind of what I'm going to wait for. Now, if nothing ends up manifesting anywhere else and I'm sitting here kind of not trading anything, then I might build a position at VWAP. But ideally, I'd want to wait for the A+ setup. The A+ setup comes vis-a-vis a break of the downtrend line. So Chow is very much in my purview. I'm keeping an eye on it. It's not my favorite, again, because it is north and south of that dollar a lot. It ideally just gets above and stays above $1, but we're gonna keep an eye on it. FSLY as well, earnings winner, broke out like crazy at 405 yesterday in the aftermarket. Today we continue onwards and look at that 930 bump like it wasn't already up enough. So from the closing print yesterday, that is at 4 o'clock before the earnings date to the high of the day today, we're up 67%, man. So it's a very strong name. We're not up 67% right now. That into the high of 1565, but you can see this is putting in a bit of a consolidation after that big move up at 930. So to me, it's yelling 1475, 14 2/3 area support with an obvious area of resistance in and around 15 1/4 to 15 1/3. I play it as a range until it gives me an indication that it's either going to fail or it's going to break out. If it's going to break out, you always want to save a piece for the dream. If it's going to lose the range, I stop out below VWAP. So even though I'm saying 1475 to 14 2/3 area support, you got to give it a little bit of room, especially since the volume weighted average price is kind of close to that range anyway, showing 14 mid-50s. So FSLY certainly in focus for me. JZXN was in focus until it lost VWAP. It looks like it's going to be a Christmas tree retracement. Green on one side, red on the other, upside down V, kind of a triangle look like a Christmas tree. I'll have nothing to do with this one until and if it gets back above. It gets a back.
It's a good.
Above the volume.
It gets it back because we're in Italy right now. Sharif, we're playing, my boy.
Oh, that's right. I didn't actually mean that. Is it 1-0?
No, it's
You're
still
so excited then, man.
Because
Hold on, I got one more, Joseph. LPT, this guy's getting late. I tried to talk to this guy when I got back. He is focused right now on the game. Not playing. LPTH. This isn't too bad. It's not up big on the day. It's sub 17 and change. It is finding some support here at the 10 EMA on the 5, but it also suffers from a downtrend here. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. I'd ideally like that to break. Couple of ways I'd weasel into this. 11 and 4/5 area support. That is the double bottom there at the 1040 and 1045 candle. I'd work into that. And then I'd have to give it, essentially, so that's about 1180. And I'd have to give it down to 1160 because that's where VWAP is. So I can possibly try to build a position here on LPTH. I'm not a big fan of the declining volume profile, despite the fact that it's trading near highs. I'd like to see the volume step in, but knowing full well that this is the time of the day when the volume does start to drop off a little bit. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on. Any thoughts on works? Works. All right, WORX? Yeah, WORX. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. All right. Again, you know, sub $1, but it is finding an area support. So I do like that 5:30 a.m. general area high. I'm talking, of course, about 27.5 to about 29 pennies, depending on whether you're looking at the closing prints or the wicks. But it comes in to that level, which just happened to be the volume weighted average price, and it's finding some support. But I'd like to see if this one's going to trend up because, you know, this one also could be on the downtrend. Thank you for pointing that one out. You know, not my faves that they're south of $1, but we're certainly going to keep an eye on that since there's not a whole lot to trade in the world of small cap gappers. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on, Joe. Yeah. Silver down 5 1/4, 5 1/3, so that could be a play as well as ZSL.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Silver. Oh, but that's what I was talking about earlier, guys. Okay. Shout out to that. Remember when I brought it up yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to that call wall on at that $80 mark. I mean, you're almost 7.5 points at this point. A little bit more, guys, to the downside on SLV. So there it is, continuing to move a little bit lower. You know what we're going to do? We're going to pull up the options chain. Man, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. You got to take into consideration the NHL hasn't been in the Olympics in like 8 years. So it doesn't happen very often. And this is the last time you're going to see Sid the Kid with Crosby and stuff like that, right? Like, this is his last Olympics. He's not going to be there in another 4 years or so. All right, so $80 mark, 14,900. If we go over to the expiration of the 20th, there's a slight increase. Then you can see a little bit more there. And then we head over to this. Boom, boom, boom. So once again, we're going to document to see if we are going to have the ability by the end of next week. I believe it is, 8 days to see if we're going to breach this level. And at this point, it doesn't look like it as we're down to 72.30 here on SLV. ASTS looking like it wants to break to the downside. Maybe we get involved small size. And it looks like some necklines are going to break here. So let's head over to our scanner once again, and let's find ASTS. There's Netflix down to 75 smackers. Oh, man. Yo, I'm just thinking, like, you got to buy the Qs, man, and the SPY. Just make life a little bit easier sometimes. Because it's not every day you're going to see a 40, 56.
What's the reason this thing is down again?
Dara brought it.
Completely, like, what the hell is going on with that?
So David Lyman, their CLO, Chief Legal Officer, sold up $462,000, I believe, worth of shares yesterday.
Thank you very much. Okay.
So I mean, there it goes. It's down a little bit here, guys. $75. That's never really a good look, but again, small potatoes, you got to be patient with this one, guys, as it's continuing to bleed here. And we'll head over to the daily and take a look at what we got going on with Netflix.
ZSL is breaking out, guys.
It's
breaking out. Like, this is a breakout. Look at this, Joey.
Silver's going. If silver's breaking down.
This is on the move, man. This is an
inverse. Whoa.
I'm telling you, it's on the move,
Look at the volume on that. Look at the volume on that. So that open interest that we were just referring to not too long ago, that is insane amounts of volume on. Did you see that volume print right there?
Man.
That's crazy. That's absolutely massive as silver is tanking. Danny boy, where are you, my friend? Frederick Von Yummy Pants, as he was calling himself, I said, hey, I think we're going to get the short on SLV, and then now we're 10 points away from that specific strike price, guys, so keep an eye out on that one. We'll go through a couple more names here. Amazon continuing to bleed, guys. A nice little print on the 5-minute, but once again, we want to go with the flow, and that might be a breakup here in FSLY. We'll head back to the scan.
What is happening here?
On FSLY?
No, I need to know what's happening with gold and silver. They're both dropping aggressively.
Aggressively with insane amounts of volume. Let's pull up gold here. and see what we got going on. Yeah, like look at this volume increase, guys. The volatility is most definitely going to be kicking up in both of these names. So silver, SLV, or what's the inverse again?
ZSL.
ZSL.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ZSL breaking out to the top side, and silver and gold with extreme momentum to the downside here, guys, as the market is heading a little bit lower.
Thank you very much to Golf Franchise for dropping 5 nice ones in the chat. You want to be out of metals? You want to be out of metals. Silver from February 17th to March 3rd because of the Chinese New Year celebration where they do not buy metals. Fantastic point, as I put to Peter Schiff, whatever day it was, Monday, I think. 25 to 30% of the gold, I know you're talking about silver, but of the gold was being bought by Chinese, whether it's by Chinese speculators, Chinese investors who don't have real estate to funnel their money into, or of course the People's Bank of China who's trying to get away from the US dollar. So certainly agree with you that the Chinese have been buying, but there have been others as well. We'll talk about that later on. So thank you for that, and thank you for the good information there. Appreciate it. Golf Franchise, good look. Now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do here with ZSL. It's at the $0.50. It's up 15. SLV, silver itself, is down 7. Gold is dropping 2 1/3. So as we've been watching and as we've been seeing as of late, it really silver accelerates to the downside as well as the upside. Gold not as volatile as silver, probably for many different reasons. We don't have to go into them now, but that's the fact of the matter. Now, how I'm going to work into this, I really don't know. I need to. This is an aggressive breakout, and I don't like getting in at the highs. I want to see a bit of a pullback. Moreover, I want to know what is going on with this price action. There's probably something macroeconomic, geopolitical that's probably causing this. Typically, when you see gold sell off, it's usually good things that are happening in the world, not negative things. So maybe something out of the Middle East. We'll be keeping an eye on that. And if there's anything, we'll let you know, obviously. And if you guys see anything that we haven't mentioned, please tag myself or Joe so that we see your tag in the chat, and then we can comment on it. Just like Sergio did right there. Sharif, MDLN has been solid since IPO. Thanks, Sharif, for your insight. That day, you are the real cyber beast. Nah, man, I want the real one, man. I want the real cyber beast. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate the comment there, brother. Let's take a look at MDLN for the OG, Sergio. Oh, my days.
Yeah, the market,
Joey, this is not a good-looking pattern here on gold. Like, this, yes, I see, realize it's highs, but this shelf here at 470, if we start making some lower highs, it's going to be trouble. MDLN, let's take a look. Oh, my days. You've been holding this for the IPO. Yeah, that's beautiful. And yet you don't even have an unbroken, you have an unbroken higher low. And as I'm going to show right here, higher high. You are putting an upward channel. Good on you, Sergio. This is classic. If you guys are wondering what chart we're looking at, it is MDLN, and it was an IPO back on the 17th of December. So it hasn't been trading for all that long, less than 2 months. MDLN, shout out to Sergio, great trade, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, so the market continuing to head to the south side. FSLY still hovering around, forming that bull flag on the 5-minute. Silver and gold are just absolutely tanking, and the amount of volume that stepped in here is insane. That is downwards momentum. I wouldn't be going against the grain on this one just yet, guys, so just be patient just in case it does decide to head a little bit lower. Shreve was taking a look at the daily. We'll take a look at it on silver as well. And it looks like at this point we might head towards that $66 mark. This is going to be a key pivot. And if we breach that neckline, watch out. There might be some more downside here in silver. Gap down, gap down. This was our massive volatility day. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more volume start to step in from a daily perspective, because that was an absurd amount. So keep an eye out on that there, guys. Wow. So yeah, I mean, the market doesn't look like it wants to stop either at this point, Sharif. So, I mean, this is just, I'm not going to call it waterfall type price action, but we'll call it something along those lines as the market is continuously moving lower from 615 to 603. The SPY down approximately how many points here? 10 in the SPY from 696 all the way down to 685, right? So keep an eye out on that. ASTS down a substantial amount this morning as well, too, guys. 15 1/3 here this morning. Well, FSLY is up 63%. That is insane. SMR was definitely one of my bigger misses here earlier this morning. Why? Because take a look at this. So what I had was just this steady downtrend, and then you failed to breach this, and you put this this doji candle right here, and then it's been bleeding ever since. So 16.27 all the way down to $15, and you're continuing to look like you want to head a little bit lower, guys. So yeah, a tough look in the market. You're gonna have to find some other names to find some relative strength. I know the staples I'm hearing are strong. Like Walmart living in its own different universe at this point, Sharif. Now up in a couple percentage points here this morning. Walmart.
What's the cap on it now?
It's over $1 trillion now. Like you're probably probably 1.1 or something along those lines. Let's actually figure that out and see what we got going on.
I got you. It is 1.066.
Oh, okay, close.
Yeah,
close,
you're really close.
Yeah, so pretty close. Walmart continuing to do its thing. And I think it was Brian Shannon who mentioned this. Like when you find these pockets of strength, whether it be in Walmart, the staples, or energy seems to be half decent, they tend to keep going, especially when we're starting to get a rotation out of the tech trade, which seems to be the narrative right now. We can go across the board. I said we're just delaying the inevitable. Continuously knocking on this 195 level, or 195 level here on NVDA. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a break below this support system, and then that's when we're going to start our climb. So just be cautious. Don't get involved too early. One thing to note is that on the earnings report, we've seen this before, right? It was on Google, it was on Microsoft, it was on Meta, it was on a couple of the other big names as well too. You have that relative strength step in on the report, and then sure enough, days after, you have that continuous selling, and you fill the gaps, you eventually head back to where you started, and I think that might be the narrative here on NVDA, guys. So keep an eye out on these big boys continuing to sell here.
All right, we see the comments, guys. What's happening? I realize the market is selling off. It is the Qs, it is the SPY, it is gold, it is silver. It's obviously the Mag 7. Apple is down 3%. Oh my goodness. Amazon is down 3%. Tesla 1.5%. Uber 1.5%, Netflix 5.25%, Meta 3%, Microsoft 1.5%. There is a lot of blood. We're keeping an eye on things. We'll update you as we can. And for now, we're going with Dara.
I just want to mention here, Google actually had a story a couple of minutes ago, and potentially a positive one. Stock not really reacting either way. It's certainly not selling, so I just want to mention this catalyst here. Google reportedly releasing a major upgrade to its Gemini 3 DeepThink model today. Also for the market, I mean, the story came out a little bit after, actually quite a bit after all the selling really began and intensified, just a little bit after 11 here, around 11:05. But reportedly, according to the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. has secretly sent Starlink terminals to Iran after the protest crackdown. Again, geopolitical stuff, not clear if that's the reason for the selling, given that this came out a bit after it began, but I just want to mention that headline as well. Back to you.
Did you ever hear of the Iran-Contra scandal?
No.
Anything about that?
No.
Interesting. Write that bad boy down.
What is it, the Contra scandal?
The
What's it about?
Iran-Contra scandal. The Contras, I think they were a guerrilla group in Latin America and Iran, and they had to funnel...
In Iran?
No, they had nothing to do with each other. That was so weird.
Oh, okay.
Right? It was during the time the American hostages, I don't know if you remember that, in the late 70s under Jimmy Carter and all that kind of stuff, but interesting there. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now.
The Iranian-Contra scandal.
Yeah.
Okay,
I swear,
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I think there's probably a good documentary on it, Netflix for sure.
We should check that out. Well, I mean, Netflix, man. Who cares about that thing right now? Sure, it's continuing to bleed a little bit lower, man. All right, so we're involved here. A lot of knocking on the door at the top end of this range here on FSLY. We won't allow this to go against us too much, guys. I mean, you can see that we're in at 16s. We're out at 37s. A couple 20 cents worth of risk, and that's it, because we'll break through this previous pivot, and then that's it. But you can see the continuous strength, stepping in. Anytime some sellers, boom, you have the buyers stepping right back in, pushing price a little bit higher. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. If we're fortunate enough to get the breakdown, it may take a little bit longer than what we're expecting, but the market is, I mean, it's not looking
Silver
good.
Silver's down 8.5.
Yeah, it's continuing to move, man. Things are looking pretty tough right now. Be patient. You don't want to hit panic mode just yet, in my opinion. So be cautious. And I'm gonna say one thing, and this is what I love you all. One thing that grinds my gears, all right? It's just like oh yeah, everything's at a discount. Everything's at a discount. But it's like if you're fully allocated into your position, Sean's like, I'm sitting on 1% cash. I told you guys I'm sitting on 2% cash, and the majority of people are already fully sized into their tech names. How do you expect people to buy more? So it's like, yeah, I get it. I understand all this stuff to you may seem like it's at a discount, but how are you supposed to buy the discount if you're already in positions? All right, so that's one thing there. Vent over, 1-0 Team Canada, and that was it. Hey man, it was a rough start. Milo up at 2:30 this morning, bouncing off walls and everything along those lines, and it's just like, all right, man, we're rocking and rolling. But when talking about cash, easy check Birkby when talking about cash. Dude, 2%. What do you want me to do? Buy a handful of shares of Birkby? It's all over at that point. All right, let's go FSLY. We're up 61%. Let's see if we can get this break of the volume-weighted average price, or this thing is going to continue to climb a little bit higher. We like where we're currently positioned. Market's still sliding, and we're seeing a little bit of a bounce here in ASTS, guys.
ASTS, dude, I'm looking at the Qs on the 5. You can't spot a red candle. I mean, a green candle. Sorry, they're all red. If you tried, Joey, take a look at this. This 3 days we kept projecting 617.5. Look at all those topping tails into that level. That's important there. 615, clearly a level of resistance on the Qs, and look at those topping tails. That's really interesting. I would be worried. I'd be a lot worried if we lost this level.
Silver down to 69.20 now.
Bleed. Silver, we're long ZSL at 50, and here comes the print into 58. We're taking it live. We're going up now to 63. Thank you very much, SSino. That's a new high a day on ZSL. This is an inverse leverage.
Oh, you're in it
ETF.
too.
You're my boy. We've been in it for a little bit, man. Yeah, I didn't announce it, but I just punched. Thank you very much to Golf Franchise. He's dropping more cash in the chat. Another 5, EIX, Edison International. Say less, my man. Oh my days, this is a good-looking chart here. Well, we're coming from highs, but that's a nice recovery there. I really like this. I'm assuming this is an energy play, given the name, of course. Edison International, electric utility holding company focused on providing clean, reliable energy and energy services through independent companies. Parent holding company of Southern California Edison Company, and Trio. Public utility primarily engaged in the business of supplying and delivering electricity approximately 50,000 square miles across southern SoCal and coastal California. I wonder if my sister has with these people, but this is a fantastic looking name. I just didn't think that the SoCal names would be booming, because I really didn't think that any of the data centers were being built there for obvious reasons. California, let's just cut the crap, not very business friendly these days, but you know, it's kind of the way that is. This is a great looking upper channel breakout, by the way. These last 3 days broke us up away from that upper channel. So you could be looking at this as a rounded bottom. I mean, to me, it looks like it just found a base and then put in an upward channel to the high side. This is a really good look. I do appreciate you there. I'm in a couple of trades, guys. We're doing it live on both. We got JZXN. We got it at 43. We just took 55s out there. Let's go ahead and set up a little bit higher. This high of the day is 65 on that. We did take out prior bar high at 1055, the high of which was 52. Current bar high is 54. Looking for continuation into the high 50s. We're going to post as well into the low 60s. Let's see if we can get that. But there goes ZSL into another high of the day. The blood is on right now. Oh no, I missed that order, so we're going to cancel that. Let's just move it back up. Slow hands, can't hang, man. So we're going to post at 61, and then we're going to post up a little bit high to see if we can get that 62 penny high on ZSL. Keeping an eye as well on JZXN. There it goes into another local area high. Now I'm waiting in 61, showing me 57s. We're doing it live. We're looking for both of these to break out into key levels. 65 penny a high for JZXN. Joey.
Jay-Z, all right, man. So this is what I'm talking about. You just continuously keep getting bought up here in FSLY. So what we're gonna do is, considering like this, we're only gonna dock this as a loss. I mean, we did take one right there, but we'll Sean O'Malley that one, even though he lost and says he didn't lose. I'm gonna call that one there. I mean, it was just a... What happened? Oh, ZSL?
No, Neil said something about Sean O'Malley. No, I got it. Okay.
Oh, what'd he say?
You got up at the wrong time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, Sean O'Malley lost the fight then in his own mind because he got hurt during the fight. He said he didn't technically lose, so he thought he was undefeated, but he did technically lose, right?
Delusional?
Well, you have to be slightly delusional to be a UFC fighter. Right?
Good for him.
Yeah.
Like, what can I say?
But then he fought the same guy again and absolutely destroyed him.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we're getting at here. But except for I'm not destroying FSLY right now. It's just chopping around. So I can't really Sean O'Malley that one right now. But here it is, guys. A couple opportunities. Small scalp that worked out for a win. Small scalp, and then that's the only loss that we take. And then I told you that we're going to get out at 36s. If it breaks higher, then so be it. We're going against the grain, and we're not getting the breakout that we are looking for. It's just waterfall type price action in the overall market right now. SMR on the daily, take a look at this one, guys, as it's heading towards some key support levels. It essentially opened up in no man's land, right? And then now we're starting to give the majority of that move back and then some. So I'd be keeping an eye out on that $14 mark here in SMR, all right? I'm not saying that it's going to hit today, but sometime in the near future, you might head towards those lower levels, all right? So keep an eye out on those names. We'll take a look at, we'll get ASTS off here, and we'll take a look at SLV once again to see if we're continuing to bleed. A little bit of a breath, guys, nothing crazy right now. And if the volume on the pullback remains low, you might be able to find somewhat of a continuation here in SLV to the downside. Adara, we're going off to crypto. Adara, what do you got for us?
I'm going to start here by looking at Bitcoin. BTC, this one coming into yesterday's low now. Yesterday's low here, according to this trading view chart, around 65,700, currently trading just at that 66,000 level now, just shy of 66.1. So let's see if we're able to get this bounce on BTC, which right now, try to see, it looks like it's maybe trying to, or do we crack below yesterday's low? Again, time will tell, and I'm sure something you'll certainly see covered here on the midday, by all of us hosts. Either way, we're still quite a ways away from Friday's low. It's crazy, it's like 6 days ago now, of that $60,000 level. I want to talk about Coinbase because they report tonight. So here you have Brian Armstrong himself, CEO of COIN, and kind of what their revenue was last quarter. So revenue last quarter for Coinbase coming in at just shy of $1.9 billion. 56% of that was transaction revenue. 40% of that was subscription and services revenue. And the final 4.1% just corporate interest and other income. So I have more infographics coming out throughout the day to kind of break down this revenue for you guys further. But either way, your bulk of this is going to be transaction revenue. Then that's going to be, again, trading related revenue, which we'll have some visuals coming on later today. And then subscription services here that cover stablecoin, blockchain, stablecoin revenue and blockchain rewards. So we're going to get more details on this throughout the session, rolling these out ahead of these earnings at 4:10 p.m. Eastern. But either way, if you want to see if Coinbase exceeds last quarter's $1.868 billion revenue print, you're going to have to find out at 4 p.m. Eastern. Again, earnings are at 4:10, but we'll get you guys warmed up here on this desk. Myself, Neil, Sean, Brendan, don't miss it. Back to you.
All right, good stuff there, guys. So we're out of FSL, and it's going to break out right now. So I think I'm going to flip, to be honest with you. I think we're going to get a nice little breakout. So let's see. I'm going to add a little bit of size here. Let's see if we can catch that fill. Oh, come on, give us a little pullback, and then maybe we can go with the flow on this one. Let's see, one little more, or are you going to go without us as the volume is drastically starting to increase? So we're getting that bull flag breakout and a little bit of a rebound. So adding some more momentum into this name, up 65% here. We're posted up at 34s, and I think that we're going to have the ability to catch a nice little move here. So we'll be patient on this. We'll make things easier with on our life right now and go with this potential big-time move in FSLY.
Sorry, Joey, I'm just looking for silver here for some of the headlines here, so just give me a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see, we go and see, boom, instantly we're grabbing a couple pennies just like that. So let's see if this breakout can be sustained, guys. I like our chances because it's been consolidating for quite some time, right? We talk about this. The longer the consolidation, the bigger the breakout. And if it just chops around, we've taken too many stabs at this. I mean, we talk about the 3-strike rule. We take 2 losses on it, essentially, in 2 small scalps. We'll just have to take it off the chart and find something else to trade here if we're not fortunate enough to get a big-time move here in FSLY. Let's go. Right, I added about 33% more to the long than what I had going on with the shorts. So let's see if we're fortunate enough to run into $16. That would put it up substantially, but I like our chances just considering, I was mentioning before, the length of the consolidation on the bull flag. Maybe we can get a sustained move here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I just pulled it up as well. I've got it down here, Joey. It looks like a prolonged bull flag. Yeah. I want to work into this. Ever since that bottoming tail candle at 1040 on the 5-minute, let me just find it, 1040. That's the one right there. it has been putting in higher lows. Now, it's still not at the high of the day. It's about 20, 21 pennies away from that high of day. So I'm trying to, find perhaps where the best way to get in is. I'm just going to draw my trend line right there. I'm looking at maybe 15 mid-teens, 15 mid-20s. Let's go ahead and set up dip trades for both of those right now. We're going to go 15.27 for the first dip, and then we're going to go another 15. We'll go 17 for the second, but it is on one right now. It wants to take out the $0.50, Joey. This thing is up 66.
Are you in it too right now?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm putting in dip trades.
Okay.
I'm just trying to pick it up on better levels, but we're going to keep an eye out on this one, certainly. Got back in and added into JZXN, looking for this one to kind of continue north. What do we have? We have 41s on this, showing 44s. Let's go ahead and post at 45. I added a couple times on this. Let's see if we can kind of get back up and hold VWAP. Right now, we're at the 10 EMA on the 5. It is back above the volume-weighted average price. Let's see if it hangs out there. That's the look there. And then silver coming back into my entry. It's right at the $0.50. Flattening out here and looking to get back in at around 45. Why 45? That's the 10 EMA on the 5. So that 44, 244, 245 on ZSL, excuse me, is the 10 EMA going a little bit lower. It looks like two high 30s, 238, 239 is where the volume weighted average price is. But it's FSLY's world, man.
Yes,
we are just living in it. Joseph, good long there. Way to flip the script. You're 30 pennies in the money on that. You're about a few pennies away from the high of the day. The breakout is on.
That's what I'm trying to hold for, to be honest with you. A couple more cents until we get that break of the high of the day. The volume's there, guys. So a nice little move. And this is what I'm talking about, just going with the flow. It's not always the best to jump around and flip script like you mentioned, but when you see something this strong and the tape is just like correlating with everything, it's just like, just do it. There we go.
Oh, my days. Oh, there it is, baby.
Yes, sir. Oh my God. Just like that. Red to green, ladies and gentlemen. A big time move. One. That's all we need. Yeah, sir. Okay, not quite, but pretty close, man. And how much did I take off?
How much you take?
Oh no.
Sorry to laugh, but you made
I took way too much off there.
Bro.
Yeah, I took 70% of my position off. Just like that on FSLY, but hey, we'll take it, man. If this continues to grow, we'll get it.
We can't have that happen again.
But no, a nice little move on FSLY, guys. If it comes back to our break even, so be it. That eliminates the couple of losses, the one loss that we had on ASTS, and then the two that we took here earlier on FSLY. So a nice breakout there, and just going with the flow, up 68% right now, guys.
There you go. Your boy Joey Option doing it live. All right, I'm watching here. Obviously, I'm watching FSLY. It's not coming into my levels, which is obviously my mistake. But I'm also keeping an eye on LPTH. We've been talking about this one, not the biggest mover on the day, but a couple of, one bull flag, excuse me. They're breaking out right at, I want to say, around 9:30. Dilly-dally a little bit, probably got its footing under it at around 10. But it has been putting in lower highs, unbroken lower highs, ever since that high of day manifested at 10:30. That's a 12:37 high. It's up 16.8%. Trying to break above 12 now. What I'm looking for is a decided break of trend. If we get that clean break of trend, not a quick wick and then, heading right back south, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a clean break of trend. Let's see, do I have this one up on a trading screen? I do not, I think. Okay, so we're going to put it on this one. QNCX, you're gone. Sorry about LPTH on the NQ. It is 5 penny spread. Oh, boy. That's a no good, but we're going to keep an eye on it. So I don't think it's broken trend quite yet. I'm going to pack my patience here, perhaps maybe above 12.10, the price, not the time. That looks like a good area possibly to get in, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I see you guys talking about a market relief rally right now. I do see the Qs on the 5, putting in a couple of green candles, but quite frankly...
Yeah, well, I don't know what kind of relief.
I don't know. Look at the symphony of red there, man.
I don't know what kind of relief that
I don't know,
It's like,
we might need to see a lot more than that, Joey.
That's a budget relief rally.
That's a budget relief rally.
Man, that's crazy.
Joey, you're getting frugal. Oh, remind me to tell you a story about frugality.
Oh, yeah?
From yesterday.
Oh, snow.
Yeah. Well, you have to draw some lines, Joey. Yeah.
You had to draw them?
I had to draw them.
Really?
With a permanent marker.
Tattooed those suckers on.
Tattooed it. No, I'm kidding. More on that later. But yeah, anyway, Timu Rally, shout out to B. Cooper. Timu Relief. Okay, so this is a running gag between you guys there in the chat because a bunch of you guys are talking about it. NVCR for short sells Nolus. Let's take a look at NVCR. You ever have a VCR, Joey?
Of course, man.
Okay, so I'm just making sure, bro. You know, I never really know.
How else did you watch Titanic back in the day?
I don't know. Titanic was late 90s. What was it, like 97?
So
yeah, so
something along
DVDs
those
were
lines.
kind of around at the time. This is not a bad look, brother. This is NVCR, and he's asking for a short, so let's take a quick look. I'm assuming you're talking about intraday. If you are talking about intraday, then you were up on the day, and you're up about 26%. You are losing VWAP here, but I'm hesitant to want to use VWAP as any important area of support or resistance because it looks like more like a line of best fit. That's the white line on my chart. See how it cuts through the middle of the price action? You know what I mean? Rather than the top or the bottom of the price action. So I don't want to use it. So what's the trend showing us? Well, I'm seeing lower high, and the lower low, and now, yes, we have a new lower low. So the low there, 13.18. The low here, 13.12. No, we still haven't made a lower low. If it loses 13, I think probably the drop is on, especially if it loses 12 3/4. That is the pre-market low. But this one got all sorts of insane yesterday at around 525. From the closing print to the high in the aftermarket yesterday, we're up over about 60%. So be careful with this one. It's very much an inside day today, meaning that the price is kind of engulfed, ensconced by the highs and the lows of yesterday, and we're caught somewhere in between. So not exactly the glowing endorsement to go short. So to summarize what I was saying, look for an area break, ideally a 13 break, and if it continues below 13, I would add on the break of 12 3/4, 12 2/3, because that would be the loss of the pre-market low, and likely you're probably going to see some more downage there. So let me know how it goes, and I hope you print up several.
Multiple.
Look at Fastly go, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Good
F5,
trade on
baby.
that, man. Good
hey,
trade,
man.
bro.
Yeah,
Way to flip, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like trying to make things more simplistic. And I talk about the downtrends that we've been going over in Netflix, whether it be in Netflix, now Bitcoin. It's just like just wait until they're broken and you see buyers engage. This is me anticipating and not participating. Me flipping long is me participating. All right, like I'm at participation with the long side. The volume is there, and then now we're starting to break out. Okay, so we took a couple of losses here earlier in the day, and then that's what we mean. It only takes one good trade to get you back on the positive side, right? And I was fortunate enough, and one thing that you also have to do is just add a little bit more. If you have that much more conviction, well, I mean, I wouldn't say that notorious, right? Like I was red, and then this just covered the majority of the losses, and then now we're starting to climb higher. 16 would be ideal, and then I would just take everything out, and I'd be more than happy with that. With that being said, maybe I'd take some more out. I'll take half of what I have remaining. Whoa, we don't want to hit the wrong hotkey now, do we, Sharif? A nice little pop up there. So yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's take some more out right there on FSLY. A nice move up 69%. Let's see if we can hit that $70 mark, but this thing's just going off of the overall market. But one thing to note, guys, I think this is very interesting, and what we're seeing right now in the TQs, in the Qs and the SPY. Look at the volume on this pullback. And then we go over effort and result quite often, and it's like there's a lot of volume there, and there's very, very little of a result, right? Like there's a lot of effort, lots of volume being stepped in, and you're not getting that aggressive rebound that you would essentially suspect here. So yeah, maybe you get a little bit of a recovery here in the market. There goes FSLY heading into that $16 mark now, Sharif. A big time breakout. That's what I'm talking about. But I have nothing left, man. I have like 7.5% roughly of the size that I initially started with. I did take a little bit too much off out of the jump on that first partial, but that's totally fine. Let's see if we can catch a fill right now. We'll take an additional 25% off of what we have remaining, and we'll wait for that fill just a little bit below $16 mark there, guys.
All right, guys, got back in to ZSL. I'm just looking at a new one here, sorry. CGNX is changing its tune, and I'm going to throw it on the side chart here, CGNX, and then we'll talk about ZSL in a second. Get it, Joey? Did we score again?
Yeah, Marner, baby.
2-0-ski?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-0. Sorry, I'm getting all soccery here. I do apologize. All right, attaboy. So we're putting the hands on check.
We're
All
putting
right.
hands on the board
Are
right
they
now.
calling it Czechia or Czech Republic?
It's Czechia.
Czechia, yeah. You don't call it Czech
Don't call it-
Republic.
don't
You
call it
get
Czech
canceled,
Republic. Yeah,
Joey.
Czechia, yeah.
They don't like
Czechia.
that. I don't know
Czechia
who they
boys,
are,
the
but
juniors
you know,
are good.
it's Turkey all of a sudden. It's like when did all this happen, man? Like, I know, man. Yeah, we got to say assassino as well. We got to say Brazil now. Nobody can say Brazil anymore, man. It's like that's next assassino.
What do you have to say now?
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah,
Brazil.
it's an S in Portuguese, not a Z,
Not a
right?
Z.
Yeah. Say again. You make the sound of Z? Brazil. Okay, so yeah, so it's not even an S. I was wrong.
I thought, but see, the thing is, assassino, I thought you'd be a jiu-jitsu master.
Leave him alone. He doesn't like soccer.
What?
He doesn't like jiu-jitsu. I love assassino.
Yeah,
The first thing I asked him when I found out he
Canadian.
was Brazilian, I'm like, do you like soccer? He's like, no.
Man, he's Canadian, man.
Yeah, yeah,
he
exactly.
do you like Team Canada, assassino?
Oh boy.
Oh,
for sure. Hey, drop the
I
cash,
need the
Joey.
Canada, but we'll hit the money because that's where Team Canada is right now.
All right, here it is. CGNX, guys. This one is changing its tune. It's back above the volume weighted average price. What is this thing up? 34 2/3%. So it's not a bad looker over here. We're going to add it. CGNX, excuse me. So it's breaking above the uptrend right now, the downtrend, excuse me. It's a bit more expensive. It's about 58 bucks. I'd like it a lot more above 59, but I know it's about $1 south of here. You got to put on some risk, I guess. If you break above this level, I would put my stop below 57.5, but it's spready. I can kind of tell by it's spready how it's trading. There's 58.12. So CGNX could be a good one here. Keep your eye out on it. I'm certainly going to as well. And then LPTH, I think it's holding above the trend line. That's probably my invitation to get in. We're already in ZSL, and there goes ZSL working its way back into the highs. Good look, good look. Let's let that one go, and now we're going to get into LPTH. So let's do it live over here. Okay. Going to go. We're in. Now it's my out on this bad boy because it could drop, right? Where'd I get in? I got in 1202s. So prior area low, give me a second, takes me to 1182. All right, so 1182 is my out. I will probably DCA into that if it does drop, but that will be my line in the sand. So let's go ahead and wait up here for a possible print, and let's wait in the teens as well, okay? JZXN, I'm coming to my wit's end with this one. So, you know, it's still above VWAP, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's on its 5th lower high on the 5. That is not why I'm in this thing. It looks like it has resistance here, but I've already put my stop. I'm going to honor my stop and see exactly how this one ends up going. But there goes ZSL into the high again, into 61. Now we post at 64. By definition, that will have to be a high of day break. 62 showing up now. The blood is in the streets for gold, silver. 10.5 for silver, 3 for gold. USO also, oil getting clipped, material names getting clipped, MPs down 5.8%. So there's blood in the street everywhere, guys. Watch out for the longs. Unless you're taking one of these inverse ETFs like I'm doing here with ZSL, there does seem to be a whole lot of weakness. We don't really know exactly what is going on as of yet, but as soon as we do, obviously we'll bring it to you. It feels like the metals are being hit a little bit harder than the indexes, but all 4 indexes are, well, major averages are indices, are all negative on the day. IWM leading the way down 1.9, followed by the Qs at 1.7. The Dow and the SPY are essentially tied at 1.1. So, buddy, I do have works up on the side chart over here. It displeases me. It's up about, 68%, but it's a 30 penny name, and I just, they're tough to trade. But I see the breakout there on WORX. I like it, my man. 36.58 high. Look for a clearing of 33. If 33 breaks, that would be above the implied balance high candle, and I would probably take it long from there. But it's going to be up to you, Joey.
Good stuff there.
Oh, hold on.
All right.
Darwin the Trader. Thank you, Darwin. Sharif. Rally in corporate bonds prompts. Bubble fears were being reported by Financial Times above my pay grade. I don't know about that, Darwin. You say some pretty intelligent stuff, but thank you for that, brother. Rally in corporate bonds prompts bubble fears, but we know the Financial Times, you know, they're a prickly bunch over there, Joey.
They're a tough crowd to please. But Sharif, we're talking about going with the flow here all day, just like that. On SLV to the downside, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, just going with the flow. Let's go. Are we running into 09s? We love this.
Give him his money, man.
Oh, let's go.
Give him his money, man.
This is a nice move. Who's in ZSL? I wonder who it is.
Who is it?
This one. Who's in Silver Short?
Oh, no.
Who is it? Who's in FSLY long? I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. This is insane. This is a pretty solid day, man. We're having a good one here. Having a bunch of fun. Team Canada's playing as well. Up to nib. This is what we're talking about, guys. Silver down 11% here on the day, Sharif, just like that. A nice little move to the downside in SLB. I took off half of the position right there at 99s, and let's see if there's going to be a rebound back to my break even. I have no issues getting out. We lock a little bit in there, so we'll keep an eye on see how deep this pullback is going to be. We're not going to allow this to come against us. Now we got a couple of pennies here. Oh, boom, just like that. We're
Google is positive, man. Google is bucking the trend completely here.
There was
1.14, man.
There was Gemini news.
Hold on, it's Waymo, man. There's Waymo stuff here, or there's Justice Department stuff. We got to go to Adair. I think she's got something.
Let's go. Let's see.
I mean, like the thing on Google, I actually mentioned near the top of the hour here. Oh, sorry, my mic is doing something. Is it better now? Okay, awesome. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let's talk about GeoOGL. So I mentioned this before we actually had this pop around 11:20 a.m. Google updating its Gemini 3 Deep Think. They're apparently going to be further accelerating modern science, research, and engineering. So lofty goals with this new Deep Think model. Again, mentioned this as it was kind of consolidating near the lows there. So it's clearly broken out since then. But again, that was the main update here for Google, though there was a Waymo OHI related announcement as well. Again, though, I think the Deep Think is the main thing to know there with GeoOGL, also based on the timing of that pop. And I want to mention Amazon too. AWS CEO apparently saying that he's, quote, very bullish on demand with tens of thousands of customers growing very fast. And he actually thinks that their $200 billion CapEx guidance for Amazon as a whole will, quote, prove to be a great investment. So interesting look there from CEO of AWS, Amazon Web Services. I want to mention as well here just more details on that corporate bond rally story. So that's coming from the Financial Times here, saying that because we've had this surge in corporate bonds, yields on risky debt have hit historic lows, which is, I guess, leading to concerns of bubble-like behavior. Specifically, this article mentions companies like Alphabet and Oracle with their large bond sales, saying that some investors are actually cautious. They use one example of Phoenix Group, which has apparently trimmed its corporate holdings and shifted to safer bonds. Back to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There's a bunch of different Google headlines. There's that Waymo one. There's also this Justice Department antitrust chief who's leaving his post. And that could be a possible, headwind remover for some of the antitrust stuff that's still plaguing Google. I know that they won with Justice Mehta. Mehta, I think, back in 25. But this guy, it says, was kind of leading the charge against some of these large cap names. He's also the guy leading the charge against Live Nation. They're saying that he was caught here between President Trump and some of the populist movements. So this could also be a good headwind remover for some of the Mag 7, especially Meta, Apple, and Google, who have been kind of subject to most of the antitrust pressures.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get out.
But that was the Wrath of Lena, too.
I'm already out. Yeah. Okay, good. I was already out. So I just got out of JZXN, so that'll be my first loser on the day. It's losing VWAP. I'm out. It doesn't look like it's going to set up in the right way, so I'm gonzino. By the way, guys, Chow, this looks like the short that Luis Barbado would be all over. I can't wait to ask him about this.
Next week.
Yeah. Well, we're probably going to have to get him on X, man, and tag him with some of this stuff, because look at this downward channel here on Chow. This doesn't look good. It's losing VWAP. It's losing key technical levels from the pre-market, consolidation areas from the pre. So this is really, really dropping now aggressively. So if you can get locates on this, obviously trade it carefully, because, shorting is a little bit more dangerous than going long. But in any event, be careful here, guys. Keeping an eye on ZSL. It looks like it's curling here. I'm adding into this position. Let's go ahead. Oops, there we go. We just added. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go, bro. Let's do this. Here we go. We're going to set up a little bit higher. Let's see. If it loses 55, I'm out. So it's going to have to hold 55. We got to make sure we're locking in the gains. I just can't be DCing into an oblivion. It don't work like that. You get,
oh, but the tape
find the
is
door
so
pretty
weak,
quick
man.
around here. You do that, Joey.
Yeah, exactly.
So there we go. We're going to throw in that stop there. Good luck, good luck. Looking for a move here in the 64, showing me 63, but I'm packing the patience. Now, LPTH, this one is also displeasing me, but I think it's still holding the upper trend line ever since breaking it, so I'm leaving it to my stop at 82. It breaches 82, I'm out.
All right, man, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, we could have re-engaged here. Probably shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Right back here at around $69 and take that leg a little bit lower. So what we're going to do is just be patient and wait for an additional pullback here and just go with the flow, right? The sellers are in complete control. So trying to catch a falling knife on this one right now I don't think is ideal. Until you find yourself somewhat of a base, you can consolidate and then maybe things will start to turn around here in silver, but you're down 11%, right? So if you're trying to go long, you're just giving yourself a hard time like I was in the FSLY earlier in the day. So it's just like you take a loss right here, you take a small scalp loss, and then eventually you're like, okay, like what are you truly trying to achieve here when price action is telling you that we're strong and we're trying to go short, right? And I think that's kind of what we got going on here in silver is just the price, even though you have somewhat of these pullbacks, these Temu pullbacks right now, Sharif, what we want to do is just wait for them to come into play, cool down, and then maybe you can go with the flow because the volume increase to the downside and selling pressure is most definitely there. So keep an eye out on that. Be patient. Wait for those precise entries. I already took way more trades than what I probably should have here today, but that's fine. We're still sitting in some FSLY. We're all out of SLV. We're slightly green here on the day, a cup of hot chocolate, going from red to green. We'll take it regardless of what it is. It's better. I remember somebody said to me the other day, I'm not up much, but at least I'm not red anymore. And that's exactly it. Like, what would you rather be down a couple $100 or would you rather be up like a couple cups of coffee or a Harvey's combo or something along those? For our fellow Americans who don't know what Harvey's is, look it up, and then sure enough, yeah, it's Canada's burger. No, I would say. I would say. You like Harvey's?
Yeah, well, my brother-in-law was involved with them for a while, right? Yeah,
Who owns
It used to be called Cara. I forget. It used to be called Cara. They changed their name.
It's because like Swiss LA.
Yes.
They're in Swiss LA. And
there's a bunch of them. I just forget the name. It was Cara, and then they changed their name to like.
Grab.
Oh,
number grab. Yeah, no problem.
Right
In-N-Out Burger, Maine. We don't got that MF Dangerous around these neck of the woods. We don't have In-N-Out. We just got what's that one place in Union Station, and then there's one right at Dundas Square. Dara, help me out here. Shake Shack.
Shake Shack.
Yeah, we just got those.
Yeah, but that's very American.
Very American.
Recipe.
They're
called Recipe. Now they changed it from Cara to Recipe.
They own Burger
Swiss Chalet, Saint Hubert.
Halcy's.
Yeah, Montana's, Milestones, Kelsey's, Eastside Mario's, Eastside Mario's, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom. Hey.
All right, man. Yeah, there we go. Up 2-0 here in Italy. So Eastside here. Yeah, there we go. Let's go, Team Canada. Now we're having fun here, man. There's a lot of good stuff going on. You see, this is the pullback that I'm talking about here in SLV. Joe Montana. No, but in all seriousness, down still 9.6%. I think if this neckline breaks on FSLY, then we'll just hop out of that. No worries. 1560, it's going to be our trailing stop on that name. And then we're going to look to re-engage in some other things. So let's go down to our watch list. Oh, never mind all of that. You know what time it is.
What time is it, man?
It's that time, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see what we got going on here today. Staples sitting in that second place, but never mind that. Utilities leading the way in the top performing sector. Guys, you can see the heat map around this neck of the woods. Sean and Adara bring this to you all the time. So I'll just go over the sector performance from a percentage metric, and then we'll take a look at some of the earnings reports. And later on in the afternoon, we'll go through some of the expected moves as well, too. So a lot to do here. A lot of trading going on. The volatility's in. Sit on your hands. Be patient. Wait for high quality opportunities. Those pullbacks, wait for them, and then engage right there. All right, utilities up 1.8%, guys, in that first slot. Consumer staples up 1.5%. Real estate, XLRE, go check it out, up approximately 0.8%. Now, it's either feast or famine. I say this all the time with the tech sector. 2 1/3% to the downside. We have the financials down 2% as well, too, guys. And the energy sector down 1.3%. But let's head over to our calendar. as they would like to keep our calendar over there, Sharif. Thursday
the way
after
it's
the bell.
spelled, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Calendar, dar, maybe. Anyways,
Yeah, exactly.
Coinbase, Pinterest, Arista, Rivian, Toast, DraftKings, Applied Materials, Dutch Bros, Expedia. So a solid B-lister lineup here with maybe Coinbase falling into that B-plus lister, all right? So the much-anticipated crypto exchange. It's a one-trick pony, in my opinion, and you're seeing it really get hit with the crypto movements as of late, guys.
All right, guys. This other one here, JDZG. There's a whole lot of these weird tickers that start with J today. This one is really going here. Rounded bottom through. It looks like it held at around the $0.50, and there it goes, taking out VWAP on the way to 2. The high of the day, I believe, is 216, 215. So we're still south of 2, but like clearly have broken trend. So somebody was asking me this in the chat. I'm like, I put it on a trading screen, so we're going to keep an eye out on this one. I don't want to jump into it quite yet, but it looks real good here. So we're going to keep that in focus. I just added into LPTH, so we'll see if that one wants to hold the downtrend line. It's looking like it's using the downtrend line as support now. Prior, obviously, it was resistance. And yeah, ZSL looks like in maybe a bit of a pullback here. Not bad. I'm trying to add into this one. It's still above the 10 EMA on the 5. I don't want to get too aggressive too quickly, but we're definitely keeping an eye out on that. And that FSLY, man, I put my dip trade into 50. Like I moved it up, but it's still not even coming back down there. So what I see here is a 3-candle pullback, okay? At least for the moment, because this current candle is green. So prior bar high is 1582. Current bar high, whoa, ZDG. Oh my goodness gracious, look at that. Just took off the roof. There is the high of the day. It is gonna halt up at 229. Oh, false halt into 241, Joey. This is really going, man. Unreal breakout there. A big breakout. It looks like it took out that 215 pretty easily on this, but watch out for the pullback now. There is gonna be possible areas of support at 220 to 215. If it loses that level, I'd be looking to set up at the volume weighted average price, which is overlapping with the 10 EMA on the 5. That is right around 190, a little bit lower. So be on the lookout for that one. Big breakout there, right as we called it, but that rounded bottom was the tell there. Too bad we didn't punch into it. Sucks to be me, up 71%. We're pausing. Yeah. We're going to happening now. Then we got Neil's lesson of the day.
Let's talk about the market, which is actually, as we speak, breaking into new intraday lows. Now, I know that Bitcoin has been a part of this here, COIN hanging out near its low of day around that 140 level, just hours before its earnings report for Q4 2025. But let's go back to the market because we've had a lot of headlines, some of them geopolitical, others kind of specific to certain entities or stocks. We'll start with kind of the broader geopolitical headlines. I'm just seeing as well now that Benjamin Netanyahu, leader of Israel, said that he believes that Iran could be able to negotiate now with U.S. President Trump and his administration. So Iran negotiations on watch now. A prior headline with Iran that occurred a little bit after this sell-off really began suggests that apparently some Starlinks were sent over to Iran given the protester situation. So just a lot of geopolitical things to be aware of here. There were also, again, a Financial Times headline suggesting corporate bond selling could be part of this. There's some concerns about a bubble as a result. I do want to talk about one stock that held up actually quite well, at least initially, and still doing quite well with this weakness, and that's GOOGL. Amongst other headlines for the company, including a Waymo-related catalyst, we did have Google announcing an update to its Gemini DeepMind, which has been attributed to a lot of this move up, especially with the timing of this coming out right around 11 a.m. And I've said it before, but I've noticed that Google tends to release a lot of its headlines via its blog at 11. So if you like trading Google, 11 a.m. certainly a time to watch. I want to talk about earnings on deck as well. AppLovin, Cisco, McDonald's, Crocs were amongst the earnings day one plays that we had today. But tomorrow we've got a whole bunch more. Roku, Coinbase, Airbnb is another example here. And then tomorrow morning we've got Moderna and a couple other companies, but DraftKings is one of the ones that will be reporting tonight after the bell. They actually missed on revenue last quarter, though they did report a smaller than expected loss per share. You can get more details and this infographic in addition to others that are going to be rolling out throughout the day on X at TTV Research. But you don't have to wait a darn second for Neil's lesson of the day because it's right here. So what am I doing talking for? Neil, lesson time.
You can talk as long as you want to talk it there. We have choices in life. And one of them is hopefully to enjoy tuning into the show because Trader TV Live is awesome. And the market's giving you opportunities like this is unbelievable. But you know what? If you were, let's imagine a scenario where a trader was short underneath VWAP on BM&R and not feeling it and got stopped on VWAP, and then you saw this happen. Let's imagine a trader, this is me by the way, let's imagine a trader who was short IBIT, and when it looked like it was bouncing off the higher low, it's like, okay, let's pivot to something else, wasn't feeling it. Oh goodness, that sucks too. Imagine a trader who was short, I was short Intel too, but do I need to go over that one either? Who was shorting VWAP on silver, got out, and the opportunity to get back in, I went to the bathroom after the end of our morning show and wasn't even sitting at my desk when everything fell apart, but I was shorting VWAP on silver. Well, you got some choices in life. You can get FOMO and you can cry about it, and I can get emotional, or you can get to work. Because it's utter nonsense to sit there and cry. You don't have time. Anybody got time for that? And that's the reality. So what do I do when I see a big move to the downside? What kind of trades do I like? I like a mean reversion trade. So I simply said, well, what's falling that doesn't make any sense to me, that shouldn't be going down in this move, that are at some key price levels? Okay, well, should Warner Brothers Discovery be fading this way? They're being bought for cash. There's still a bit of a bidding war, so I like the bid on that bad boy. So I'll look for a bottoming tail candle, and I will go long. And you know what? I also looked over, I'm like, well, what other deals, that Confluence deal is supposed to be closing? So I went and overlooked at that, it wasn't moving enough. So I'm like, what else is also going? There's a Clearwater which is being bought and was doing, like, look at this nonsense. This is another one that's being bought for cash that shouldn't be falling in a market like this. It's basically just catching strays. So I'm a mean reversion trader, I get a bottoming tail candle and I play it back into VWAP. And the thing is, on a day like this where you get a move like that, you have opportunities. If you're a mean reversion trader, one of these makes up for literally every single one that lost for like 2 weeks. So you can cry about what you missed. I don't really get that emotional about stuff. You can cry about what you missed, or you can go out there and just get to business and see what the next opportunity is. And if there are none, you take none. But if they're out there, you hit them. And here's the other point too, because I want to tell you, like, it was just sort of letting you know that these are names that aren't expected to move the way that they are, so the reversions are bigger. So what does that mean? If I like it better, if it's a good trade, notice something about, and it doesn't matter the stock, it's about the execution. If I have what I believe to be the bottom on a move that makes no sense, and I think it's a snap reversion, see that first upward candle, see half the move. How many exits are out of here in that first half? Right in here. None. Why? Because if you really think that you've got the mean reversion play, why would I start exiting what's supposed to be a really good trade just as it's starting to work? That's where I think people say, I hate the saying scared trader is a deficient trader. I think it doesn't make any sense to me. Talk to like a UFC fighter and like they're scared every time they go in the ring because it sharpens their senses. Because I think that like there's a fear of, well, taking loss, but there should also be a fear of not capitalizing on what should be a really good trade. And when you have that fear, you're like, oh, this is really, really good. I'm scared I'm gonna, well, I know what I need to do. I'm in. I have an idea where the bottom is going to be, and I think I've got that bottom wick. I could go to a 15 and show you some levels. But if I know that first push and this is the move, if my risk is a 2 or 3, I've got to hold. Like, this is a stock that normally puts in a 10 to 15 cent range. So I'm pretty sure I'm looking 10 to 15 pennies risk 2 or 3. I can't be getting out 1, 2, 3 cents in for if it's supposed to be a big trade. Right? You've got to have your big trades cover up multiple losers. That also means if you've got it, panicking out as it's just starting to work doesn't make any sense. And again, it was the same thing in this one. If I've got the bottom, when do I start getting out? In here? No. Start getting out as it presses. If you've got the turn, when you see it start to jump in your favor, as far as I'm concerned on a mean reversion trade, that is the last time I want to be getting out. When it starts to slow, then I can start working out of the trade. This is the thing about it. I know it's counterintuitive, but the way I see it is if your best trade or something that you're doing is working, and in the moment that it's working, your first urge is to get out, how much could you have liked it in the first place? So allow your trades to work for you. But I think the more important than that, FOMO is going to happen all the time. I don't care in life, in trading, whatever it might be. And you can't let it debilitate you, ultimately. It's not an easy thing to do. You've just got to sit back, understand that trading or in life in general is just about capitalizing on opportunities. And when there are no opportunities, you've got to be able to just be looking for them. If you ever notice, and you'll see me in the show, my focus goes from, I have a winning trade, I've forgotten about it. Like I can go review it on the train home or something like that. Because my first thought is what is next. And as long as the market is open, my next thought is what is next? What am I in? What am I doing next? If I'm out of something, what am I doing next? What's the next opportunity? So when you get FOMO because all the shorts that I had just gotten out of before the market crumbled, I should have held on to, I can sit there and cry about it, or my mentality can be, what is next? In any given situation, what is the next opportunity? That is your job as a trader. Because ultimately, your job isn't to sit there and make calls as a trader. Your job is to just go out there and make money. And that comes from just finding an opportunity, taking a trade, which has a positive expectancy, and then letting it work. And if you're stuck in FOMO, then you can't do that. So the mentality of looking for the next opportunity, and this is something people get wrong about. There's a book called One Good Trade, and which a lot of people talk about. It's an interesting one, Sharif. I know he's nodding his head. People get that so wrong. It's like they didn't read the book. One good trade is not about taking one trade or trading one stock. That completely misses the point of that book, and it's a good trading book. It's basically about find one good opportunity, hit it, and when it's done, find the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Your focus is always on that next one good trade. Not just, this is my trade, I'm going to make it work. That's not what that book talking about at all. It's about the next opportunity, and then the next opportunity, and then the next opportunity, so that you can become more profitable by taking those high percentage plays, by having those setups that work for you. But you gotta know what you're looking for. And this happened on Liberation Day. There's a reason I went to a bunch of deals that in my mind, if like this falls beneath this price, it's a mean revert. This happened on Liberation Day. The stock that I went over to was, at the time, it was Walgreens Boots Alliance. It was being bought $11.45 cash. The stock was inherently, and it actually had there was actually a contingent value right that it was worth more than that. The stock was trading at like a 10 to 15% discount. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You got to load up at $10. It's free money. Even one of our viewers was like, this is ridiculous. And it ended up closing a couple months later. You could have had it that day for 7%, and you could have held it for a month, and you would have got that 10, 15% almost for free. Because you know what you're looking for in that moment. So this is the kind of thing that is a mean reversion trader's dream. Just know where you're looking when that panic comes in, and if you've got the bottom, let it work. Because if you're going to try to pick a bottom, you better actually hammer it if you get it. That's the thing. If you're gonna be sitting there looking for a bottom in days like this on just about anything, when it works, it should be good enough that it covers up multiple losses. Otherwise, it's not worth it, because it's ultimately going against the trend. So you gotta ask yourself, if this blown through the bottom, am I making enough? I'll tell you I can tell you very simply. I always look at it this way. It doesn't matter how much you make on the trade. I risked 7 cents. My average out on this was 14. So it was a 2-to-1 trade. And if I get a bunch out in here, is it a 2-to-1 trade? No, it is not. And that's the way you gotta think about it. Good luck to everyone out there. There's blood in the streets, all that kind of stuff, but there's always an opportunity if you're willing to look for it. Get past the FOMO, try to shut down that emotion if you can do the best by looking for the next opportunity, because there's usually something. The market is going to give you a chance to get that money. You've just got to be level-headed enough to recognize it and not get caught up in what happened before. So there's your lesson of the day. I haven't had the fried chicken, but I mean, come on, you can't mess up fried chicken. You can't. Joe, okay, so here's the thing. Joe was saying you can mess up fried chicken. It's very difficult. I'll correct myself. It is very difficult to mess up fried chicken, okay? It's simple, it's delicious, and people that don't like it, it's okay in my books. Joe, I still love you, brother. I appreciate you, but this is going to be delicious, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna be licking my fingers, and I gotta do me. So good luck, everybody, as the market heads right back into the lows. Peace. How you gonna?
I'm not hating. I'm just saying you can mess it up. I'm not saying they've messed it up. You know what I mean? Neo, brother. You know we.
Well, you know what, Joey?
All right, let's see.
When it's a little bit of oil with a little bit of chicken.
Yeah.
Then
things get a little bit more difficult.
Change.
But if you're talking about buttermilk, like you can mess that up. You can mess that up. It could be not that quality. All right, let's take one more attempt here on SLV. I mean, let's see what we got going on FSLY as well as it's creeping towards the high of the day. I got to hold this until the break of this pivot, which is probably going to give us 70 or about 20 cents or 80 cents worth of risk right there. A little bit more than what I wanted. Top end of the range, but if we're gonna break down and continue with this downward trajectory like the overall market is, then I like our chances, right? Just going with the flow, at least like going with Neil said, is just putting yourself at the right place at the right time, essentially, and trying to take advantage of it. And that's what we got going on here in silver. Looking for that additional leg lower. But again, buyers can step in at any given moment on this thing, and I'm prepared to hop out exactly when I want to. What we want to have here is an established failed new low, and then a continuation to the low of the day here in SLV, brother.
All right, man. There we go into a high. Well, not into a high, sorry. We take a bunch of prints out on my order. JDZG. Why is this so hard to say? JDZG. We got in there on the move down into the 10 EMA, defends 2, still pulling back. Prior bar high is 217. We got to clear 217 for the trend change. We haven't done that quite yet. Anything below prior bar low, which is 195, I'm out. So let's see if this one can hold up. Already a couple of prints on this bad boy. ZSL as well, we did add into this position looking for a continuation. Sorry, where's my ZSL trade? There we go. It's holding the 10, but it's not exactly rocketing up. 265 is the high, 256 is where it's printing right now. So we're gonna pack the patience and keep an eye out on that. And then last but not least, the other trade that I have on here, which is LPTH, taking a bunch of prints on this one. It's still kind of putting in lower highs. Let me just throw this out there. But it's holding above the 10 EMA. So I'm trying to pack my patience on this one. I think if we can get above 1213, we can definitely squeeze into that 1237 high day, but who knows? We'll pack the patience on that one as well, and we'll see what's up. Frederick dropping $20 in the chat. Shout out to Frederick, man. Reads as follows. Had meetings all morning and missed the SLV dump. I come back and see all my greenery. Oh no, turn to reddery. Sorry, brother. There's definitely a war raging between the physical and the paper market. COMEX wants a dump. Shanghai knows they're short. I love how you put it in those terms, my man. Shout out to you. Speaking macro, he's speaking commodities. Thank you very much, Frederick, for that. We know that there has been a marked disconnect between jewelry prices, spot prices, and futures prices as well. And there's an ARB there somewhere that the Chinese traders have certainly been exploiting it. We've been talking about that for a while, but there goes JDZG into the high there, and we got good shares on this one. Looking for continuation, we got 05s. We just went the beak at 17s. We're posting at 20s. We're posting at 23s. We're posting at 27s. Let's go. Let's see if we can get up here. We broke prior bar high, where we have a higher low and now a higher high. There's 20. There's the print. Looking for a move back up. It's a 40-penny high, and this is a monster. We saw what this one did on the candle at 12 o'clock. It just shot up. So what I saw was a hold at the 10 and a hold at $2. I said to myself, this is the time, the place, and to get in. So we did get in. We've got a nice winner here. Looking for a little bit more, Joey.
All right, man. It's time to play the game, and that's the FSLY game right now. So shout out to Triple H, guys. So a nice little move to the top side. Once again, establishing a new high of the day. Yeah, exactly. So let's see if we can.
Oh my day, Joey.
Drop system, brother, both.
We're gonna hold, Joey.
Are you in it?
Yep, we're in it. We're in it with shares. There we. Oh, false halt, Joseph. But we caught the top there. Let's see. I can't see where limit up is, so it's not showing up on my level 2. That means it's probably far removed. Watching here, seller at 45. Sorry to interrupt you, brother, but I just had to
go ahead.
with that one. Seller at the $0.50 here. It's a 53-penny high day, so we've breached prior area high. I'm posting at 60. Which will necessitate a high daybreak, and then I'm posting at 69 as well. It's zigging and zagging, but this one has a tendency to revert, and revert quite aggressively. Look at what it did at 12, and then the candle at 12:05 and 12:10. So be ready for the drop down, but that could be your entry here. Make sure you are using sound technical skills, though, and risk management skills. Keep your eye out on this one.
Yeah, keep your eyes out on that one there, guys. So yeah, just going back, the longer it takes for silver to breach this support level, the less I'm kind of liking it here. We're gonna stick to our stop, so be it. So there's FSLY. Is this the top? Maybe, maybe not, right? It doesn't look like we're gonna slow down, but we'll keep our eyes on the 5-minute time frame just to see if this is gonna close as an inverted. So if we get a peak up here with an inverted hammer, I don't have very much left, about 5% now of the remaining position. So we'll get all out of that one, no issues whatsoever. And now this is where we're gonna run into trouble with silver, and I don't wanna toy around with it too much, just in case. But what we can see right here is that there's that support level. I wanted to get in a little bit higher just to increase the risk to reward. So slight chase on my behalf. Pennies matter in this game. And then now you can see we're starting to get this rebound. If we're gonna move sideways or break back up to the volume weighted average price, there's zero chance I'm gonna be holding on to this short. All right, so Frederick, I also work for a military contract and half our staff are from China. They're telling me that the Chinese don't stop buying during Chinese New Year's. That's a falsehood. All right. Very interesting stuff. I can't really comment on either of that.
It's Lunar New Year right now.
Yeah. So there it is. We'll keep an eye on silver as it looks like it wants to rebound and break through that previous pivot high. The short not going necessarily how we want to, but the long here in an FSLY really working out as it tapped into a new HOD. And you can see on the time and sales, the ask, we're hitting 16, 18, there goes 20s, and there goes silver to the top side. I'm gonna hop out of this here momentarily and just get out a little bit earlier, and then we'll find something else to trade. Too volatile for the amount of risk I'm looking to implement on this thing right now. And we don't have time for that, right? We want things that are gonna cooperate and work with us, and silver's not doing that. So it's AC Slater to silver right now. We'll get out of that one. We will take a loss on it, but it is what it is, Shree.
Yeah, you know what, Joey? I think I might get out as well. It's a series of lower highs. The only reason I've been holding ZSL here is it's been holding the 10 EMA on the 5. But it is putting in lower highs, not necessarily lower lows. Now it is. Into 53 it goes. I'm thinking. What is the move here? Now we're on a pullback, guys. So since that big candle at 11:45, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles that have manifested. Of those 7, only 1 is green. Okay, so that does worry me. And then obviously, in addition to the fact that most of the candles have been red, the lower highs seem to be operative here. Just thinking. Since we're so close to the $0.50 here, I think I might just leave my stop at the $0.50. I'm only 1 penny out of the money. I got 56s on. It's showing me 55s right now. So I'd ideally like to pack the patience on this one because silver has a way of holding levels, but we'll see. I'm just going to let that go. I'm going to hold on to it. Now I'm keeping an eye here on LPTH. I almost got stopped out of this, man. It looked like it was losing the bid there at the 12.15 candle, the low of which was 11.94, but right back into 12.09, 12.08. Let's wet the beak here on LPTH. We'll take some profits there. Looking for a move though, man. How long is this one going to make me wait? The higher lows clearly showing you that buyers are stepping in, but the sellers are just putting a damper on everybody's party. I've got a bunch of resting orders here that are just dying to get filled, and none of them are. So that is a bit of an issue there. Now let's get back to JDZG, right back into that 2.25. So here's the updated levels. So I've got 05s on right now, but the 10 EMA on the 5 is now showing me 6s or 7s, right? And so I didn't actually mean to do that, but yo, when the numbers are so close together, what are you supposed to do? Like you can't say 6 and 7, you know what I mean? They're close together.
They're close.
Right? In any event, so I'm looking at the 10 EMA on the 5, found support there at the 12.10 candle on the 5, the 12.15 candle on the 5. So let's see if it comes back down there, man. I might add. I've taken out the majority of the position, so I'm feeling good, confident. We still got a couple of beak wetters here at 60 and 69 that still have gone unfilled. So we're going to pack the patience on that one. But I think I will add into that 207, 210 area. I won't put it with a dip trade. Like I'm not going to have a resting order at that area. I'd like to see the price action develop and then how it manifests at that area. If that means me missing 6, 7 and getting it at 12, 13, fine, man. This thing's been up to 53. So that's fine. So that's my thinking about that. So we're going to pack the patience there. LPTH still disappointing me. Disappointing.
Disappointing.
It is disappointing.
Nice
did we cover Frederick's $10 super chat?
Yeah, we did.
Military. Yeah, thank you for that. Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff there, guys. Someone said they're long the Qs off of the lows. I think that's a really good play. Considering, yeah, I'm at it. I'm not looking at it right now. It's too volatile.
Tell me you're in Fastly still. You're about $1 in the money now.
Yeah, close, relatively close, but I have no size left. I did take a lot off the initial move, but there it is, right? You have this consolidation, and if you want to catch the lower end of the range, I think you're going to be putting yourself in a pretty good position. By the way, those silver shorts did put me back slightly red, but that's okay. What we got here on FSLY can cover that. We'll keep an eye on that. I don't want to always look at the P&L. That's been a really good thing working for me. So yeah, I want to get this. I want to get the lower end of the range here on the TQs, right?
Okay.
And again, if I finish the day where I'm currently sitting at and that's slightly red, it'd be coffee money, and I'm okay with that. We'll dock that in. Wins on the week been substantially bigger, so I have no issues. I'm out of here at 1:40, by the way, guys. I have a follow-up appointment with my surgeon, so we're gonna go see what Dr. Wynn is up to.
The best with that, obviously.
He's a funny guy because he's got a lot of money, right? So he's just one of those relaxed guys.
Yeah.
He needs elite
Boy,
level.
He's a surgeon, bro. He's probably raking in.
He's got
half to three-quarters of a
think about
million.
it. He did my knee 10 years ago.
Oh,
and my
dang.
grandma used to work with him at Etobicoke General.
So he's an OG.
But he's still relatively young.
How old is he?
Probably like in his late
50s?
40s.
What?
Yeah. You know what I mean? So this guy,
chill?
he's mad chill, yeah, and he's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so he'll probably give me a little bit of trouble because I haven't been going to him for physio, and then we'll ramble on a little bit about that. But no, the guy's, I'm pretty sure he has a Cybertruck, he has Porsche, yeah, he's got a side Porsche. He gets what he wants. Like, he has that style of life where he's like, money doesn't really matter to him. And he owns a physio shop as well, too. So
sorry to interrupt, Joe.
Go ahead.
There goes LPTH taking out that prior area high into 20. We have 98s on this one. Let's go. The higher lows are operative here. The lower highs weren't. There's the $0.25. I get the $0.25. Now I'm looking for the third of a dollar. There's the third of a dollar. And come on, print, bro. You're right there. You're right there. I want to use a swear word here, Joey. We're close. We're close. Let's go, third of a dollar. It's right there right now. It's not going to give it to me, but there it is. 37 penny high, 1237s. We're showing 27s right now. Current bar high is 30 on the dot, so we didn't get the third of a dollar, despite the fact that it looked like it crossed. Anyway, good move here, and I was trying to size up into this one at the level, so very happy with this. Watch out now for the possible double top. If we clear 37s, I've got a bias that this one does go into the $0.50, if not more. Sorry to interrupt, Joe, but I just want to say one more thing here.
Go ahead.
JDZG is on its way down, looks like to the 10 EMA on the 5, so that is currently showing me 207s. Again, I'm not going to add with a resting order at the 10 EMA. I'm going to wait until it drops down into that 10 EMA, shows me that the buyers are stepping in, and then we can make a decision there, Joe, because catching this one is like catching a falling knife. We've seen what this one did before. From 53, it lost 2. So it's definitely a volatile, a prickly one.
All right, thank you, Benton C. and Phil Bryan, thank you very much. And thanks, Hypercube, for sure. There goes the market, a little bit of a break up to the top side. And then FSLY putting in a new high of the day as well. Okay. Once again, I don't have anything left to make any form of a dent, really. But we'll take it for what it is, guys. A nice reversal. Imagine holding this to the short. And it's just recognizing, we'll go back to see what we had going on. When you have this bull flag and you're continuously trying to short and it's bouncing off of support levels, it's just like stab yourself in the face and be like, hey man, just make your life a little bit easier and go with the flow. So I'm happy that as soon as I seen that we're going to get the breakout in on the lower time frames, the volume really started to kick in. We flipped the script, no problem on that front. So a nice little move there in FSLY. It's now up to 1629. Do I take a little bit more out here? I mean, it doesn't essentially matter. We'll do it just for cosmetic purpose. Oh, whoa, what happened there?
What's going on, Joey?
I don't know. I almost got all out, but thank you to the rejection of the order. There we go. We take a little bit more out on FSLY as it's continuing. It's ascent now 75% to the top side. We're approximately $1 ITM on this name. So a nice move throughout the session, and the market is continuing its rebound. Be cautious, guys. I'm waiting for one more pullback in the TQQQs here, and if we come back into the middle of the range, I think that's going to be my green light to engage. So if we can get that move, we are in the top end. But look at the volume. We want to keep an eye on the volume profile. Is that breakout volume? Ask yourself that. And in my opinion, no, it's not. So at some point, sellers might step back in, and we might be able to continue to move a little bit high, or come back into the range and then move higher after that point. But this thing is going off. It's now 76%, 1641 on FSLY. A big team moving fastly to the top side. So a nice little move there, guys, in FSLY. Go back to silver. What have you been up to? Now back up to $70.13. Not much going on, right? It's probably going to take some time for it to curl back over if it does, or you might find somewhat of a rebound here in that name. Gold, is it being as affected? Yeah, right back up to the volume weighted average price. So check that out there. What do you got?
No, he's testing something.
The screen and everything along those lines. What is Rigetti with the downgrade here this morning? Not looking too, guys. Yeah, I know. A tough look in the quantum space here. I don't know, man. I might, our thing here. Let's pull this thing up here, because, I mean, it's, I don't know, man. All right, let's pull this up. I'll pull it. Give me a second. We'll get this rock and roll. We got to go to mine and Fabian's chat. This thing is now, we got Randy in third place here. Randy jumping in. He's got XOM. I wish I could do that too. Is just come in a couple months in, select something that's 40% up.
Why can't you change your picks midway?
Can you?
I don't know. We're making up the rules as we go. Why not?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, man, I'm going to go with Walmart. What else should I go? Matter of fact, XOM is one of my picks as well, too, there,
How
Randy.
about SanDisk?
And SanDisk as well.
WDC, it's up 7% on the day. I'll change my picks tomorrow,
we're going with the flow, man. Hey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, as they typically like to say. But in all seriousness, your boy falling into that 4 spot. Randy with the asterisks up there, but he's up 8%.
He's got the asterisks, eh?
Yeah,
good.
So, I mean, that's the thing. It's fishy, right? We don't really know what's going on with that one. But in all seriousness, Obi absolutely just leading the race, and our boy Sean falling back into that 11th speed. Poor Ram down 18% over here.
Well,
I mean, you can
indifference is her greatest weapon.
Yeah. So look at that. All 3 of her picks, double digits to the downside. If you want to pour a little salt in the wound, here it is: 15.8%, 25.4%, and 14.9%. I think at some point, if you're down too much in one, then you might be eliminated. Sean down 35% over
eliminated. This guy's making more rules.
Yeah, you make up more rules as we go. Yeah, so that's the thing. If you hit down 25%, you're officially eliminated there. But no, in all seriousness, a good look at the picks, guys. Your boy sitting in the 4th spot right now.
Attaboy, Joey, attaboy, man. All right, I'm just logging in here. I need to see some stuff. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, I'm still holding here LPTH. Look, I screwed up. JDZG dropped right into the 10. It did breach it, but it didn't lose 2. So if you had your stop below 2, you were fine. The low of that candle, I'm talking about this candle right here on the 5, bottom of your screen, that ended up holding 2. It breached the 10 EMA on the 5, and this current candle has a higher low and a higher high. So it might be time to add into JDZG. I could give it to prior bar low, but that would probably be a 20 penny risk. And I don't want to give it to that at this level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to clear 40. So here's my thinking. 40 penny reject, 40 penny reject. Yeah, I realize that it didn't reject on a technical sense, but look at the closing prints. They're all below that 240. I said 2040. I meant 240. I apologize. So $2.40 to me is an important technical level. If it can clear that level with a closing candle, a closing print, I'll get back in. But I don't want to get back in here and then have to give it to prior bar low, which is about 20 pennies away. That's just not the move for me, so I'm gonna let that one go. Ram says she's chilling. I'm chilling, y'all. It's February.
What?
Yeah, well, it's cold outside, so literally she is chilling.
Yo, literally
right?
it's chilling. Okay,
it's good there. So that's what I'm looking at there for JDZG, but if it doesn't clear 40 on a closing basis, I don't know. It's simple as that. I'm keeping an eye on ZSL as well. It seemed to have found support at the 50 penny area. It breached the 10 EMA on the 5, so didn't respect that. But find supports at 50 penny. Now, mind you, it held that 1140 candle low, the low of which was 247. So let's take a quick look here. Yeah, there's just, I'm going to need a trend change here, ideally above that 58, 59 penny area. I mean, you can get in here, right? It's just, to me, it's still putting in a bit of a downtrend, right? you still feel like the sellers are in control on ZSL. So I don't want to jump in quite yet, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to pack the patience over here on ZSL. But the FSLY was the mistrade of the day for me. It's just clean as day. Clean as day. You got 3-candle pullback. I tried to move up my dip trade into the half dollar. It didn't work, and now it's like $1 removed from that. Pardon me. But as I see it, LPTH is making up for that because here it is again into the area high, and we're going to wet the beak there, cancel the order above it, and we're going to move up the order into 48s now. Sorry, so I had my order at 43. There it goes into 44. That's another high a day here on LPTH. Let's see if it can clear the half dollar. I'm putting it a couple of shekels below the half dollar because the spread right now is 5 pennies, so may or may not print. But this one is on the breakout. It's not up big on the day. It's up 21 some odd %, but it's a good looking chart pattern, man. Especially that higher low ever since that candle, I want to say at 11:20. That dipped into VWAP. It's been basically holding that upper trend line since then, so not a bad look for this bad boy here. I really have nothing else except JDZG, which I haven't added into, and I'm kind of actually happy. Look at that. Comes right back down into 210. And 210's been where the majority of the closing prints on the 1 and on the 5 have found support. Now, if it holds 210 here and then kind of looks like it does a local double bottom and takes out 2 1/4, I'll get in before 240 there. But if it loses it like it is now, here it comes into 7s. I have 5s. I'm not going to allow this to go against me at all. Let's watch, because now it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 red candles in a row. And then add to that the lower highs from the 253 topping tail candles. So it looks like this one may be destined to go back to 2 or volume weighted average price at $1.90. In any event, it doesn't go anywhere below my order. We're moving up the stop right now into 204s, which will be, just 1 penny below my my entry. And then we're going to cancel the old stop so that we don't have any mishaps there. So that's all I've got right now, Joey.
Yep.
It doesn't look like there is too much else moving. ZSL continues to drop back down right into that half dollar, so nothing for me to do.
Okay, so ZSL going down, silver going up there, FSLY going up as well too. Yeah, exactly. Take the cash and run, Gorev. Somebody was talking about, hey, you got that look that you're looking, the trade that we were looking for here in the middle of the range on the TQQQs, and this is what I was referring to. You get that breakout, but the volume wasn't breakout volume. So if you were to post it up down there, you catch the fill in the middle of the range. You want to give yourself a little bit. So does that mean size down and go below the support levels so you're not panicking and getting yourself caught up in this chop, right? So we'll be patient a little bit more here. The volume really starting to cool down in the overall market, but this thing has been a beast. I only have one more out on FSLY, and we'll hold that till whenever. What time is it here approximately?
It is
12:36. Yeah, so I mean, time's flying. A couple opportunities here and there. SMR slowly starting to rebound. It had a strong reaction in the pre-market, but then giving back the majority of that move and then some, slowly getting that curl over type price action, so that rounded bottom that a lot of individuals are looking for. And this is what we're talking about in the TQs and in the SPY. I think there's a couple things that can happen here, right? So we're going if and then. What we can do is that, hey, if we don't get buyers really starting to engage, what can happen is that you have this lengthy consolidation after this leg down, and then sellers step right back in, giving you that second larger leg to the downside. Or maybe not as large, but somewhat south of the key support levels that seem to be established right now, okay? So just be patient. Lower end of the range is going to drastically help increase your risk to reward ratio, and I think that's really important right now. You don't want to be chasing these things or trying to play the breakout when the market isn't necessarily telling us that we're in breakout territory.
Look what I'm seeing some articles come in now. They're not, immediately new, but a lot of the weakness in the metals is being blamed on the jobs data yesterday. So you never really know exactly how to digest all this, but it says gold prices extend losses after strong U.S. jobs data tempered near-term expectations for fresh interest rate cuts, which typically bolster demand for non-yielding bullion. Futures in New York, as we know, dropped following better than expected non-farm payroll figures and a decline in the unemployment rate. That's obviously yesterday's data. Weekly jobless claims fell. Other metals also plunged, with silver futures down, as well as copper down as well. The decline comes as stocks turned lower Thursday as concern about AI came to the surface once again. So I don't really care about that. You know, quite frankly, I was talking to Joe off camera, and I said to him, like, even when you're within a range, and that feels like we are in a range in the market right now because we're not that far off the highs on these major averages. When you drop, the drops and the ranges are typically a lot quicker than the moves up. So if, let's just say you're trading from, where's the SPY at? 685. Let's just say from 650 to 700, okay? So the drop down from 700 to 650 is going to be a lot quicker than the move up from 650 into 700. So on days when we're during periods when we're ranging, it does feel like there's blood in the streets because the drops down are a bit more aggressive.
Oh.
That's kind of how I see that. What's up? Oh,
yeah.
3-0 eh? Well, we almost netted another one?
No, there was a nasty move by Pasternak there. He danced a bunch of Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, man. So yeah, Boston. That's good.
I'm all out of my positions, by the way.
You're all out of you're out of everything. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on like 2% here on FSLY. That's all we got going on. Boston, I like your position here, considering if 48.90s you say you're long from, right in this pullback area. That's a good place to be in. Essentially, I would give yourself some more room. You probably have to give it about 50 to 60 cents or so to actually prove that you are wrong. Right, so that's good. You're not in exactly at the top end of the range. You're in the middle of it. It'd be obviously ideal if you can catch the lower end because this market, like the volume, the buying pressure is relatively cool. And what I just seen here on the 5-minute isn't promising on the SPY and on the TQQQs. This isn't what I would want to see. Oh my God, why do you keep doing that? This isn't what I would want to see, in all honesty, right? Like you have this move right here. You break up through the prior resistance zones, and then now you're starting to print these inverteds. And they're at key levels as well. They're in breakout territory where the volume is really starting to cool. So we talk about each individual candlestick telling its story. Well, what is this one telling us right here on the 5-minute? Buyers push price all the way up to 49.33, and then sellers push price all the way back down to 49.10. Now, if you breach that level, that's good because that can tell you, hey, the buyers are starting to dominate a little bit more and they're stepping back in. But if you don't and you slowly start to curl over, just be cautious because you might come back into the middle of the range. And then at that point, it can give you a solid opportunity to pounce and find a good risk to reward ratio. And that's what I'm talking about from a volume by time standpoint, is giving yourself good risk to reward, but also using the volume to gauge, hey, are we breaking out or are we going to be stuck in this ebb and flow type, this chop type mess in the overall market? And I think that's the state that we're currently in. Until I see that volume really start to pick up, Sharif, I'm going to go with the chop and maybe an additional leg lower. So we want to see what the big boys are up to as well. If we're going to consider taking some trades on the TQQQs. Apple, how have you been performing today?
Clipped, bro.
Oh, wow. So whatever happened yesterday it's all gone. So that's unfortunate.
And then some.
And then some, brother. Microsoft. Rebound north of the volume weighted average price. NVDA, what have you been up to? We're starting to head back into VWAP. Inverted 5-minute hammer candle right at a key level. Keep an eye out on that one. Amazon, what are you up to? Starting to head a little bit lower. Another one there on the power play there by Team Canada. So yeah, let's rock and roll.
4?
Yeah, 4 on the power play
man,
as well.
that's
Let's see
whooping.
who got that one. But we want to stick with what we got going on in the stocks here. Consolidation there on the lows on TSLA. What's going to happen here? Are you going to break down? And this is what I'm talking about. This is there's so many things that we can go over. It's like not everything works all the time, but here it is. We talk about that 5-minute time frame on the TQs, that inverted hammer candle right here, and then sellers are now starting to push price a little bit lower, okay? Nate McKinnon, attaboy. So there it is. And then here it is, FSLY. Sharif and I were both saying this earlier. FSLY. Sharif and I were both saying this earlier. Bull flag breakout holding key support levels, the longer the consolidation, the bigger the move can be. And that's exactly what happened, especially when you started to breach the high of the day. So watch out for the chop in the market, guys. Catch the lower end of the ranges, increase your risk to reward, and unless you're looking for that breakout, there's one thing that you want to correlate it with, and that's volume.
Well said, Joseph. Well said. Have you ever played paddle? Have you heard of paddle? Yeah, so it's like tennis, but inside a glass kind of
Oh, you were telling me it's kind of like squash or something.
It is, but you're
with a
partner. So you're not hitting it on the wall. There's like somebody on the other side.
On the other side.
But there's a glass.
What kind of ball are you using?
So it looks like a tennis ball.
Yeah.
It's like fuzzy and like a green, but the spring on it, like the internal pressure, not as much. So it's not. Oh, we almost scored again, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's one.
So it's kind of like a pickleball, kind of.
But you don't use the pickleball.
Okay.
So, and the ball moves a lot quicker. And like squash, you can play it off the glass. So unlike tennis, there's no out of bounds, right? It lands in, and then I can play it off the glass. So
and you're allowed one bounce on your. Okay, yeah. So
but if it bounces off the glass, I can still hit it like in the air.
Yeah. That's sick. I like the glass plays. It gives you a little bit more.
I'd show a video, but we'd get dinged. But
why is there music in it?
No, it's just because you know how this stuff works, right? One opened up by my gym. It's like downstairs for where it is. I think I'm gonna sign up, man.
It's good. You like pickleball?
I don't like pickleball because I'm a tennis guy, and they take up the courts. And we want them off the courts.
You want the pickleball?
We want them all off the courts.
Okay.
Yeah. They're taking up space.
I like pickleball because the ball it just moves slower, right? The air catches it. You can get a couple more rallies going on. You know what I mean? For the less individuals who aren't as good at tennis. And same with badminton. Badminton, I have a blast in because even if you whack it, it's like. And it slows down, man.
I'm not.
You don't like badminton?
No.
That's crazy.
I see you saying you like badminton, don't you?
Badminton.
Okay, I like that. I like badminton. It's okay. It's not my favorite.
Agree. Oh, wow, Ram.
What happened, Ram?
Jeez. All right.
Agree. Yes, Ram. They're in the way, Ram. I mean, I don't know why they're not doing it live.
Someone said try workout with maximum fun. Try jujitsu. Have you seen car jujitsu?
No?
Dude, it's crazy. What? Yeah. So it's like two dudes sitting in the front seat of a car, and you gotta like tap each other out in the car, but you can use like the seatbelt to like strangle someone.
My
So what happens is you start with your seatbelt buckled, and like one of the tricks is to block the other person from unlocking their seatbelt, and then you can do your like typical jujitsu move. It's like a real thing, yeah.
Okay.
And one time I seen his buddy grab the seatbelt and just choke the other guy with it. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
Hey, Joseph, we got into Fastly with you, man. We're in at 23, showing 36. It pulls back into the 10 EMA on the 5, and that's when it had a buyer in me. And there it goes. Let's cancel this order. Let's move it up. We're going to move it up into 47, showing 42 now. Can we get a little bit higher? Let's see, 45s, Joseph. All right, the breakout. Well, I don't want to say breakout. We're still below the high of the day, but it just flashed 47s. There's 47, and there's the print. Now we move above the $0.50. We're moving above the high of the day. So 57s is the high of the day. By default, I'm going to put it at 59. Let's see if we can get some more here. FSLY is on that good stuff. And it is rejecting the $0.50 right now. Here's the deal. Any move below my entry at 23s, I'm out. 16, let's go ahead. We'll give it to 21s, just so, you know, we'll give it a little bit of room there, shall we? So there we go. We're moving up the stop. Let's see if this can take out the high of the day, turning into a topping tail candle, and not the good. See some of the comments there. No one is illegal on stolen.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why everybody.
Because Billie Eilish, bro, you don't know about the whole thing at the Grammys?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you skips, you caught me there, bro. I should have read that one.
Yeah, but meanwhile, she goes home to like her $14 million mansion.
I'm not going to go down that road, but yeah, the skips, you made me laugh. Oh man, I got caught with that one. He's proud of himself. Shout out to the skips. Yeah, look, there is like a well-documented dislike between tennis players and
like that, eh?
And pickleball players. Yeah, we don't like them, Joey.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't like them.
All right.
We don't like them at all.
You guys finished second in your tourney too, no?
Yeah, but it was so there was open, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. We didn't want to go into open, so beginner and open. We went into open.
Yeah.
It's good, but I have a feeling I probably won't be playing in that tournament anymore, but it's okay. I love our inside jokes. All right. Guys, I wanted to mention that Chow is making a move. So we were crapping all over this one earlier, talking about how it couldn't catch a bid, this, that, and the other, but it's broken the downward channel very clearly. And now, in fact, if I could, This one looks like it is making an upward channel. In addition to that, it is finding its way above the volume weighted average price. So Chow could be on a possible reversal. Alas, it's still south of $1. So, you know, your boy's gonna wait a little bit. Now, I don't have any very, very defined key levels except that dollar, where we did find some resistance right at the implied ballot, the open there at 935. We ended up taking it out quite decisively at 955. So I'm gonna keep my eye on Chow, but CHOW is certainly of interest to me if it sets up in the right way. Currently, we're still in FSLY. I'm looking for a high day break. If it loses my entry, I'm out. Simple as that. Last but not least, I want to mention this one, CGNX. You know, typically I like tickers that have CG because those are my initials. But this one lost VWAP. Ever since it lost VWAP, though, it has been very, very clearly to the upside over here. So good luck for CGNX for anybody who's been trading this. Well, it's up how much? About almost 38.25%. So good luck for this one. And yeah, those are the ones that I'm keeping my eye on, FSLY, CHOW, and CGNX.
All right, good stuff, guys. So yeah, there it is. The market's starting to come back in. You touches right back into 48.90s. Let's see what happens, guys, because we were talking about on the 5-minute time frame. We could tell that sellers are really starting to kick back into this. Now, I was looking at down to $37. Not too good of a look here. Let's kind of zoom out and see where we are. I remember when this first was launched. We'll actually go over to the weekly so we can see a little bit more clear and see where we are from a consolidation. So that's the frustrating part, right? I mean, we're back to 2024 levels, so 2 years. So 2 years of essentially gains just gone in the span of on IBIT.
Oh my day.
Yeah. So
where
I mean,
are we at,
48%, down 48% off of that previous pivot. So a 50% haircut there in the weekly. And maybe this consolidation is going to hold up, but it could get absolutely disastrous. So when did this first was launched on January 11th, I think, 2024. And I started grabbing some and just slowly bought within this consolidation, bought a little bit more. So even what I've been sitting in for a couple of years now is slightly OTM, which isn't fun. But if we do form an additional consolidation, like you got to take into consideration, this is the weekly. So this was 8 months of just doing absolutely nothing. You eventually make your move higher. At this point, I thought the move would be substantially more sustained, but that wasn't necessarily the case. So what I'm worried about here now is that you form that additional.
That's it.
Buddy just hit it off the wall.
See how he plays it off the wall?
Yeah, that's sick.
That?
Oh,
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
Oh, that's really cool. So if you form another consolidation and you break down, things can get absolutely disastrous, I believe, in the crypto space. So we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves or anything along those lines, but it's not good when you go up from $72 down to $37, 48% haircut. So just keep an eye on that and be prepared, guys. Be prepared for it to get a little worse. And you think like, hey, how much more worse can you get? You're down 47% or 50%, we'll call it. Think about it. You have 70% pullbacks in this. This thing can go down to like 40K, 35K. So just be prepared for that. And hopefully, as Rain was saying, you got to learn how to sit on some cash. Well, I got to take Rain's advice because I'm not sitting on too much cash in some current positions. But if you get out and you're fortunate enough to get in at lower prices, then sure enough, kudos to you. Let's see what we got on the TQQQ.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Did you look into any peptides for your recovery?
No.
You haven't looked into that?
No.
You should probably do a little sniffing.
Why? What do you think?
Apparently, there's quite good ones for like surgical recoveries, tissue healing, stuff like that. And you know, they're obviously not hormones, which is the plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was listening to some. I was one of the trainers actually this morning. Was one of his clients he was arm injury or something like that, so they're doing lower body, and then he was telling him, he's like, you know, you should look into some
the
of
peptides.
these. Yeah.
So what did he say? What does it do?
It's for specific peptides for healing specifically. So
Okay.
Look into that, man.
Yeah.
You get
I'll
a bit of
look
an edge
into it,
there.
man. I might find a little bit of an edge. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's interesting. You know what, man? I'm on the all natural right now. 2026 is. I told you,
I know you did,
what had been going on for me. So it's pretty good, man. And I think I'm gonna continue on that pace. 34
like
in
that,
October. So let's see if we can get back to the best shape that we've ever been in. It's gonna take a lot of work.
It's not gonna actually be even remotely impossible. Because I know for a fact with me, and I'm like 10 years your senior.
Yeah.
So if you're 10 years my junior, then for a fact,
yeah,
you can get
it
into
can happen.
the shape
Yeah,
of your
yeah.
life,
So
bro.
let's see if we can get back to fighting shape. That's the ideal
There you
thing.
go, bro.
Fighting shape is. You know what someone said on the other day? Someone said I need to eat more fried chicken because I'm looking skinny. I'm like, dude, I weigh 175 pounds.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
He's tick, Katina Man.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Katina
man.
Man's
I
back
got-
in the house, so we're gonna shout out the Katina Man. He's
test
got
him
the
more, I
lunch.
think.
He's got the jerk chicken. There he is. That's okay. It's okay.
no, I'm not. But see, that's the thing. Drop systems. That's been eliminated since last year.
What does that mean?
Drops. You see what drop system said?
No, I didn't. What did
You
he
read
say?
what he
Hold
said.
on,
That's
let me
been
have a look.
eliminated, man.
Where is it at, Joey?
So, but you're might have to scroll up a little bit.
Okay. We're gonna have a look there. Oh,
But, yeah.
I don't. Well,
Since last year, man.
No, when I went to this guy's place a couple of weeks ago, I mean, he was like, I brought a couple of tall boys with, and he's like, no, man, I'm substance free this entire year. And that was
Sounds
just-
crazy. Like when you say you're substance free, it sounds like you're on a whole slew of
in
things.
everything,
But no,
yeah.
but
That's
no,
not what I
no,
mean,
that's
obviously
not,
there,
that's
yeah.
not the case. But yeah,
Shout out
no.
to my man, though. It's not an easy
Yeah,
feat,
that's
so
it.
shout out
man.
to you, bro.
That's it.
Guys, ZSL is making a move back up. That will mean that SLV and silver futures are headed back down. Katina, man, you might want to have a look at some of these metals, brother. Yeah, the blood in the streets. ZSL right back up into 260 here. It's a 265 high. It held the $0.5, not strictly, so there were a couple of wicks below, but as you can see, that uptrend is still intact here on ZSL, which is an inverse leverage ETF for silver. 265 high, 20.7% in Greensville on the day. Let's see if we can clear 60 decisively. We'll get back into this one if I have to. Absolutely. I have no qualms with that on ZSL. I'm also keeping an eye here on LPTH. Right back into that 10 EMA on the 5 after making yet another high of the day, 1250. Double tops into 1250. First 5-minute candle to make a new low, 1245 candle. And now we're finding support at the $0.05 of a dollar to the $0.25. Can't quite tell, but it's up 19.18%. So it's, doing well on the day. So I think it might be time here to get back into ZSL. It's got a 4-candle green setup. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give it to prior bar low. Prior bar low takes us to 57s. That's fine. Let's do it live. We're long. Let's go ahead and set up an order at 64s, which will be before the high of the day. And then we're gonna see if we can get above 65. So good look here on ZSL. We're not risking much. Right below 257, we're gonna put in our stop, simple as that. And we'll try to lock in the profits on this bad boy so we don't give anything back. But looking for a move here into the high of the day on ZSL. Simultaneously, we're still holding our long on FSLY, but this one is putting in a bit of a consolidation now. And it looks to be more prolonged in terms of consolidations than the prior one. The prior one was from 1140 to the breakout candle at 12, so 20 minutes. This one, well, we made technically we made the high of the day at 12:35. It is now 12:55. So yeah, they're both 20 minutes long. Let's see if we can kind of get above 57. We're about 20 pennies below it right now. In about 5 minutes or so, we're going to start the new segment, guys. There's a whole lot to talk about, not least of which is the blood in this market that is causing all 4 major averages to be decidedly red. With the IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF, leading the way here, down 2 1/5. Second place is the Qs, down 1 3/4, and the Dow and the SPY, like they've been all day, are tied down between 1 1/4 to 1 1/5. So not a good look, not a good look. But as we talked about, elevator down, escalator up. We'll have to see if that kind of thinking holds. Joey, do you have anything that you want to mention?
Yeah, and I want to go over what we were talking about, 5-0 Team Canada, so we can lock that off there. Good start from the boys. That's exactly what we want to see. Thank you, Katina Man, for that. And we wanted to be cautious of this specific mark, right? The 5-minute print, the inverted hammer candle above some resistance zones, and now we're heading to the lower end of the range. Yeah, I know. I wish I could. I was just never flexible enough to kick. I would love Muay Thai just because I think the elbows are the most dangerous weapon out there. Aside from your hands and knees are absolutely deadliest too. But anyways, aside from this, guys, we have the SPY putting in a new low of the day. And then we also have the TQQQs as well too. So starting to head towards that neck of the woods, guys. 48.49 is going to be that mark. But the SPY is really weak. I want to see what XLF is up to because if you're getting a continue, oh wow, look at lift on the day. just continuous bleeding here, stair step to the downside. So talking about making your life a little easier and going with the flow, that's going to be Lyft. How has Unity been performing? Same thing. You get a little bit of a bounce, but right back towards the low of the day. But what I wanted to get at here is the XLF and see where we were going with this one. Yeah, it's taking it on $51 or $53 down to $51.57. So keep an eye out on this, guys. It's helping dragging the SPY down as well. Now you got the TQs just pennies away from the LOD. You're still short, Katina Man?
Get it,
All
Katina Man.
Riding that bear. We'll hit this one for Katina Man on that one. Nice work, brother. And we're still sitting in FSLY. The position board not up right now, but ASTS looking like it wants to, ASTS looking like it wants to put in a new low of the day. Same with SMR. SMR continuing its descent, so not too good of a look so far, guys, but I think this can set up for a somewhat of a breath in the market and a cover rally leading in tomorrow. So I like these opportunities. I like these strong weekdays leading into the final day of the week. Let's see if we can get a bounce here in the overall market come tomorrow, guys.
All right, guys, still holding a piece here on ZSL, looking for that move up into 65. It keeps flashing 61, 62s, but no continuation above that level. I'm still holding FSLY as it gets right back into that $0.50, and here we are again at that $0.50. Now, the high of the day is 57. We spent almost no time there, so unless you had a resting order, you likely didn't get printed, but what I do like is the very clean hold of the high of the day. There's 53s. Can we get a little bit more? I'm waiting at 59s. So by definition, this will have to be a high of day breach for me to get printed, but the spread is 1 penny. It's been that way basically all day. It's done 65 and 2/3 million shares on the day. Here comes 53, there's 53. Here comes 54, there is 54. 57 is the high of the day, looking for continuation. Can we get a nice price spike up? Nope, there's more short selling and or profit taking at the $0.50, so we'll have to pack the patience there. How's that ZSL doing? We're doing nothing. We're doing absolutely nothing on that. Showing 62, 63s now showing up. I'm actually waiting at 63s and 65s and 69s. Let's see if this can breach the high of the day. The high of the day is 65. So 2 of these orders of mine here will have to be a touching of or crossing of 65 and then a new high of day. Because if it doesn't cross 65, I won't get the print, right? So we're keeping the eye on there. There it goes into 64. Now we're about 1 penny below the high of the day there. ZSL, inverse leverage, silver ETF. It is basically trading with a lot of volume. Somebody was telling me there, I think it was Lemon Family, he's like, I see about 1 million some odd shares sitting at 62s and 61, but that is part and parcel of trading this. Look at the lottage here. These are not shares, these are lots. I don't have this programmed to shares. 11,591 on just ARB alone. And then look at basically you're seeing that on almost every gateway. But the fact of the matter is this one moves to the beat of silver's drum. So whatever silver does, this one's gonna kind of shadow that. So be on the lookout and look to kind of take possibly dips, I want to say into the 10 EMA, but it wasn't really respectful of the 10 EMA at all times. So you're going to have to choose your own levels here. To me, it was the $0.50, but you couldn't use the $0.50 as a strict level for your out because it did breach it, but it was quick to retrace above it. I'm talking, of course, about ZSL. So on the lookout for that. And then separately, LPTH, which we had that big winner on, right back into the 10 EMA on the 5. And it's holding on a 3-candle basis right now on the 10 EMA. That candle at 1250 was pretty aggressive from 1240 all the way down into 1220. Green candle for 1255. And this current candle at 1 o'clock has a higher low and a higher high. So this could be an interesting area here. Now, if I want to get in, I could give this to 20. So we're in at 28. I'm going to get in. I'm going to try to get the mid print at around 25, and I'm going to give it to the low of the prior bar. The low of the prior bar is 21. So let's see if we can kind of get, bless you, Neil. Let's see if we can kind of get in at the mid print. We do get the mid print, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it to prior bar. As I said, it's 21, so let's go ahead and do just that. You're going to have to give it a little bit of room here because it's a 4-penny spread, so sometimes you may not get the print. So make sure you're accounting for that on your stop placement. We're going to pause for a second, guys. We're going back up to the big desk.
Keep an eye here on NVDA dropping a little bit. OpenAI reportedly, according to Bloomberg, debuting its first AI model using chips from Cerebras. Apparently, this is NVIDIA supported. Microsoft didn't really move in this. But again, OpenAI reportedly debuting its first AI model using Cerebras chips. NVIDIA, I mentioned, again, dropping here. This seems to be the only one really reacting to this catalyst. Back to you.
Thank you very much. All right, just put in the position now. What do we get? We got 23s. It's showing me 26s. Let's see if this one can make another move up. This current candle is red because it opened up a little bit higher, but it has a higher low. It has a higher high, and I'm not risking that much. I'm in at 23. I'm going to stop out literally below 21. So if it holds prior bar low, we're good to go. Otherwise, we stop out. We give back a little bit, but we'll still be very positive on the name. We're keeping an eye here on ZSL. In the 64 it goes. 65 is the high of the day, so I'm looking for a breach of that. We're waiting at 65. We're waiting at 67s. And then you know where we're going to be waiting after that. So we're going to pack the patience here on ZSL. Oh, looks like LPTH is dropping down. I already got stopped out of that. Already got stopped out, so we'll give back a little bit there, but very little. So keeping my eye on that, Joey. By the way, Chow looked like it was going to make a move, right? It broke trend. It got back above the volume-weighted average price, and it's already breaking the trend. So this could be yet another short here on CHOW. Look at this. This is kind of like a bear flag, right? All the way down, you have an upward channel, kind of the opposite of a bull flag, and now you're losing the lower level of that channel again. So CHOW, and most especially if it loses the low of the day, which is around 76 2/3. So CHOW, it is giving up the goods and giving up quickly, even though it's still up about 84% on the day, Joey.
All right, good luck there. I tried to get in at a specific level here on the TQQQs. Now I'm chasing it a little bit. So let's see if we can catch this fill on a pullback. I like what we're seeing. You do have that additional leg lower. We're still sitting in this FSLY. I can get out of that momentarily, but this one has been working pretty good for us. Right off of the lows, I like our chances on this one. So I'm posted up just a bit above 60, 65s to be exact. So a little bit more of a pullback. We should get a fill. There it is, bang. So you can see that we're long both of these names. Why am I going long on the 1 minute? Well, we have this additional breach of the lower end, and then we have this 1 minute time frame with the candle with increased volume, and then a hammer candle as well. So I like our chances to see if we can grab a little bit of a move to the top end of the range, or the market just might break down altogether. So we're in at a good place, and this is what I'm talking about, being patient, right? So you just want to sit, especially when you're in this chop mess. We're in as almost as low as you can essentially get. Now we're going to wait for the middle of the range or the top end of the range before we take anything off. So a nice little move there so far in the TQQQs, guys. You can see we're long 64s, pumps up to approximately 73s, so not too bad of a look whatsoever, but starting to come back in. Have to be patient with this one in order for it to turn around. So as long as we don't breach the majority of this wick, then I think we have a pretty good chance of somewhat of a move. There is a key resistance zone. You can see that this 48.71 level acted as prior support, and now it can act as resistance. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Not too bad of a look whatsoever, guys. Nice, a nice little pop right there, Sharif.
Yes,
in the TQQQs is exactly what we want to see right now. Bang. Let's get this move sustained. Punch through a little bit of a bounce. What are the big boys up to?
What are they up
That's
to?
what we really need to figure out right now, Sharif, especially if we're going to consider trading this. We've already considered it as we're continuing to climb. So is Apple finding somewhat of a rebound? Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay, a little bit. Hey, yeah, I mean, we'll take that. What's Microsoft up to? All right, a little pop there in Microsoft.
Pop.
What is NVIDIA up to? Ooh, moving to the downside, help drag the market with it. So if we get a pop in these big boys, Tesla finding a little bit of a sustained move right there, Google as well. So all right, man, right place, right time. Let's see if we can get this rocking and rolling. And we got a new high of the day on FSL. Maybe we take this one out at the breach of this $50 mark. We did get him pop up into 74, so 10 cents ITM on that. But we want to hold for a little bit more. I think we can wait for 48.80s and see if we're fortunate enough. There it is. Nice little move. That's what we're talking
Joey.
about. Let's all get out. Let's get all out of FSL. Let's take a little bit off here. Oh, there's the 80 print that we are looking for on the teacher. There's 85, Sharif. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
My man.
And we're right back to Greensville, USA. Oh my God. There it is. There's a lot of bills in the United States.
There
you
are.
notice that, right? So you Greensville.
We got a lot of one. We got Unionville. Streetsville. Yeah.
What else, Ville?
I don't know.
We're hitting the Moneysville.
I ran out.
We'll call it Moneysville over here, and I took half off there. I'll take a little bit more off just for giggles here. Rejected the order. Feels great. So let's take a little bit more off here, guys, on the TQQQs. Ooh, going without me. Oh my God. TQQQs. Let's pull this up. So a nice move there. Once again, I mentioned that I was red earlier. We take that partial out on the TQQQs. We're now back to Greensville, USA, baby.
FSLY has had a lot of selling at the $0.50, but it's feeling very ascending wedge-ish. It's a 16.57 high, but every time we work up into this $0.5, we are being met with aggressive selling. It's still above the 10 EMA on the 5. In fact, the last 2 5-minute candles are all bottoming tail candles off that 10 EMA, but it feels like, you know, there's somebody with a lot of conviction at the $0.5. So let's see if we can clear it. It's up 76% on the day earnings name, of course, from yesterday. All right, Sia, it is 1:08. What are we talking about first?
We're going to dive straight into Apple today. So Apple's Siri upgrade was reportedly hit with development and testing challenges, and it was supposed to expect enhancements in Siri in its iOS 26.4 version, which is supposed to launch in March. But it is now considering pushing this upgrade to at least some features to iOS 26.5, which will come in May, or even iOS 27, which will come in September. And instead of delivering it all together, Apple is expected to deliver these in increments. So despite all the headlines, Apple's shares were trading higher, roughly by 0.9%, also being up as much as 2% intraday. And currently, Apple is down 4.82%.
Apple is absolutely getting clipped. It is far and away the worst performing Mag 7 name on the day. It is barely holding on to 260. It's not a good look. This is a problem that we've been seeing a lot with Apple lately, where it keeps delaying the release of AI. And so something my spidey sense tells me that essentially what's happening here is they're having trouble with the incorporation of Gemini 3. And so I feel like they can't seem to get the product right, because we know Apple is not going to release it unless it's absolutely polished. And I think that we're having that kind of problem that we all see with AI, where there is constant hallucination that can't be weeded out. I use 3 different AIs on a premium level: Chat paid, Grok paid, Gemini 3 paid. They all hallucinate. They all constantly make mistakes. If that is going to be the case, I don't think we're going to see the type of AI that Apple initially promised us, because they're not going to put out an unpolished product. That is my concern. That is honestly my concern. I think the technology is not refined yet. Apple can't seem to get it straight in-house. They tried to outsource it to Google. It seems to be a problem. So if this is true, if this actual headline is true, that they are looking at pushing it out, I think it spells trouble for the industry as a whole, not just Apple. But now, having said that, let's talk about this. The delay here, why we're seeing the negative reaction, is because it delays monetization, right? So if you were incorporating, I don't know, if you were looking at a 5-year window and you're like, okay, we're going to monetize AI from, let's just say any date, right? June 2026, and we're basically are going to draw our model into June of 2030, so that 4-year model, you have to push back where you start monetizing AI. So that fundamentally changes the number. That's the other problem. So I do worry about this whole thing, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, no confirmation from Apple, but we never typically do get any confirmation.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this quite often, and just in the fact that we know that Dan Ives said that he has an equal chance of making the NBA as Apple getting things right in-house. And we're starting to see that displayed a little bit more.
Well, they're not doing it in-house anymore, Joey. Remember,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's no longer the case.
No.
So it's no longer in-house. They've outsourced it to Google, right?
Yep.
But now they're having troubles with that. But I think that even speaks more volumes on how much they were actually struggling and made them turn to Google at some point.
You know what I want to say as well? Google is willing to accept glitches and willing to put out products that are not refined in order to kind of get people to use them, and then, you know,
and then you
make
refine based off of the, exactly.
Apple just refuses to do that.
Well, I mean, they already made that issue with promoting Apple Intelligence too early. They didn't, even though they didn't put necessarily a product out, they never really promoted anything before without actually launching, knowing that it's going to work to the the capability that they wanted to. But I think what I was getting at here with the Google and the Gemini, or sorry, the Apple and the Gemini thing, it just speaks that they were having enough trouble. There's going to be speed bumps along the way. And I like the fact that you brought up this is just going to delay monetization. We were supposed to have the release of Apple Intelligence almost 2 years ago now at this point. So at this point, it's like, okay, what, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, maybe the product isn't going to work exactly how you want it to, but eventually down the road, they will get it right, they will monetize, and they will see a return on investment regardless of what happens. I would call that almost inevitable at some point.
Sounds good. We're going to pause for a second. Before we go to Sia, we're going to go to Adair.
Paramount cannot stop. We have more updates here in PSKY's battle here with Netflix. Again, it's entirely of PSKY's own making here over Warner Brothers. WBD and PSKY on watch here. Paramount Skydance reportedly in discussions to nominate Pentwater Capital Management, which is a top shareholder of Warner Brothers, to its board as part of its proxy battle aimed at derailing that Netflix takeover. So once again, according to Financial Times, Paramount Skydance upping the ante a little bit here in that proxy, or I guess in this bidding war here. And again, they are trying to nominate Pentwater Capital Management as part of Paramount Skydance board to up this proxy battle just a little bit. Back to you.
Very much. All right, Sia, I know we're talking about Apple. No, don't go to Sia. Okay, she's got an issue. So I'll just go with the next story over here. So China's overall smartphone market declined 23% year over year in January. It was pressured by the reduced subsidies, by some of the government subsidies that they were giving there. Major domestic manufacturers, we're talking about Huawei, Xiaomi, they all saw notable sales declines. And even though it doesn't look like it today because Apple's getting clipped 5.25%, Apple was the only major smartphone brand to actually post year-over-year gains in China. In fact, iPhone sales rose 8% in a year, and that now has pushed Apple into the #1 place with Huawei, with about 20% of the Chinese market share, somewhere or in an area where they have struggled essentially since the super cycle of the iPhone. I believe it was the 13, and that was back in 2022. Counterpoint Research noted that this marked Apple's strongest January share performance in 5 years. Okay, so I was wrong. Looks like maybe it was before 2022. The base model iPhone 17 is strategically priced in China so that it does meet some of the government requirements for subsidies. That makes it obviously a bit more attractive, and because Apple doesn't actually have to discount the phone themselves, which they haven't been doing in China. Compare that to what they were doing with the iPhone 16, where it was heavily discounted on JD.com, on Taobao, which is Alibaba's. They were giving, I think, if my memory serves me right, 15 to 20% off the iPhone 16. You haven't seen any discounts on the 17, which helps, of course, preserve margins. Joey.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this for quite some time. It's just like, what are we going to do when we classify this? We were looking for the super cycle, but once again, it was delayed due to the fact of the release of Apple Intelligence. We've seen that in the 17, and what does that speak for the technology? If Apple 17 is performing relatively well, and the in-house phones like the Xiaomi's that we were talking about, the Huawei's not performing relatively well, I think that speaks volumes on what we got going on here for Apple. I like what they have, even though the Gemini is released, Sharif, I think even so, 18, 19 to 20 is probably we're going to see another additional super cycle, in my opinion. Why? Because they're going to try to come out with something new, and I think they need to at that point. So as long as sales hold up in China, we've seen record growth across the board here in this name. I think it's going to be sustained, especially with this AI boom that we're experiencing.
All right. Apparently, there's another European investigation, an antitrust probe into Google. This is just, I'm seeing this. What time did this come in on my blotter? It looks like it came in at around 12:40, but this is being reported by Bloomberg. It says Google, the target of billions of euros in European antitrust fines, has been hit by a fresh EU probe over concerns it's illegally rigging the cost of advertising on its search engine. The European Commission suspects Google is, quote, artificially increasing the clearing price of ad auctions, again, open quote, to the detriment of advertisers, close quote, according to a copy of a February 9th letter to potentially affected businesses seen by Bloomberg. The Brussels-based regulator said that the suspected conduct, if backed up by evidence, could violate competition rules, which can trigger fines as high as 10% of the global annual sales. Another day, Joey, and another antitrust lawsuit by a European regulator against an American company. So just keep that in mind. Google not really reacting all that much, but something to keep in mind because it could be more of a long-term headwind. We're still not going to Sia? Okay, so we'll continue on. Just give me a second over here. Let's go on to the next story. Joey, Cisco. Oh boy, this one absolutely got clipped today. So let's have a look at what Cisco is doing. Down 10.92. So it's SSR. Talk about this. It wasn't all that bad. Adjusted EPS coming in at $1.04 ahead of the $1.02 on revenue of $15.35 billion. That beats a 15.12 expected, and it's a 10% increase year over year. And that net income, their profitability up markedly, $3.18 billion in take-home money. Compare that to last year on the quarter when they took home $2.43. So a nice EPS beat there. And their core networking revenue, their major contributor, up 21% year over year, bringing in $8.3 billion of the 15.35. So more than half. That is well ahead of the estimates by the street of 7.9. They expect, now let's talk about the next quarter guide, not the full year. We'll get to that at the end. Cisco is expecting $1.02 to $1.04 in adjusted EPS on revenue of 15.4 to 15.6. The street consensus for EPS was 103, so that's the midpoint between 102 and 104. But the revenue guidance slightly tops expectations. EPS guidance kind of right in line. And when you feel, a stock that was rallying into earnings, if you just meet guidance, then, there's going to be some profit taking there. And we've seen that a lot lately. Now, they also reported $2.1 billion in infrastructure orders from hyperscalers. We're talking about the Microsofts, the Apples, of course, Google, Netflix, Amazon. And they announced participation in the Saudi AI investment projects in addition to AMD being involved in that. They also launched a new networking switch with the NVIDIA chip. That is kind of their main thing there. And revenue acceleration from NeoClouds, which is cloud service offering AI. Apparently that's picking up, and they expect it to ramp up even more in the second half of 2026, Joey. But they did complain about rising memory prices. Because of the increase in there.
You've seen a bunch of tech names complaining about that as well, the increase in memory prices. But I mean, subscription revenue reached $7.8 billion. She was talking about this, 51% of total, with total RPO at $43.4 billion, up 5% year over year. Product orders rose 18% year over year, including $2.1 billion in AI infrastructure orders. But all of that doesn't matter, Sharif, especially if you don't guide correctly, because sure enough, boom, or you just come in line, the street's not going to like it. So whatever gains you had from January a month ago is now all gone. You're down 12% here in Cisco.
Good. Okay. All right. Let's go to Sia for Applied Materials.
I'm sorry. Applied Materials has reached a settlement with the U.S. Department of Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS, over an alleged report of control violations which are tied to shipments to China between the years 2020 and 2022. The company will be paying $252.5 million to resolve this matter. And the issue has stemmed from a misunderstanding of how certain export regulations have applied to certain transactions rather than just purely international misconduct. And another thing, Samsung will be joining Applied's new $5 billion EPIC, EPIC, Equipment and Process Innovation and Commercialization Center in Silicon Valley.
All right, so what I like about this immediately is the statement that they weren't doing it purposefully and that it was an unintentional oversight. Whether you believe it or not, that is the agreed upon statement of facts, and we're moving on. What I also like is that $252.5 million fine. Take a look at the amount of cash that they had on hand on the 6th of October, 2025. They had $8.57 billion in cash. So that 252, although not great, obviously, doesn't really move the needle in terms of cash on hand on the balance sheet. What I want to talk about, though, is this move here that they're making this technology to improve yields. And we've seen Intel really have trouble with yields. So Applied introduced what they're calling a new deposition, etch, and materials engineering systems aimed at improving leading-edge logic chips at 2 nanometers and beyond. 2 nanometers is the highest, right? So what's the point of these? Well, the innovations aim to improve yields and enable high-volume 2 nanometer production. That's kind of what I wanted to hear, because that could directly be used, of course, by Taiwan Semi, but that may help Intel with their yield issues. Specifically, we're talking about the 18A, which still has a yield around 50%. Not good enough, especially when you compare it to Taiwan Semi. So I do like that. Those are the two aspects that I like. the actual fine doesn't move the needle with respect to cash on hand, and they have a very, very interesting technology when it comes to chips and yield.
Yeah, I mean, here it is, 163%. Not affected too much, but still moving down with the overall market. Yesterday, you tap into a new all-time high here, and Applied Materials are also reporting after the bell, so keep an eye out on them. This can either break down a little bit like we're seeing across the board on multiple names with strong earnings, or it's going to throw this thing into new heights and break through the previous all-time high here in AMAT. So keep an eye out on the earnings report this evening, guys.
All right, Sia, what do we got next?
AppLovin Q4 EPS has come in at 3.24, beating the consensus of 2.95. Revenue has also reached 1.66 billion, which has topped the estimates of $1.61 billion, which is rising 66% year over year. And despite the deadline beat, shares dropped as much as 9% after hours. But even with strong results, the revenue growth has slowed 52%, which has raised certain concerns about peak momentum, and shares are down 30% year to date.
All right, so the earnings report aside, what really does concern me are, the constant headlines that this company keeps finding itself having to deal with. We got multiple different short seller reports. The names of the short sellers I don't remember offhand, but we had one that alleged violations of Apple and Google's App Store policies, though neither company confirmed or denied that, but it sold off on the news. And then you saw a separate one, Capital Watch accused AppLovin of ties to international crime syndicates. The company denied the claims, and then Capital Watch later retracted them, to be fair. But there is an ongoing SEC investigation into the collection of data practices, and that remains a near and intermediate term overhang. So I got to tell you, Joey, we saw this one absolutely rocket last year, and I think even into 2024, but it's down 30% about year to date.
Yeah, it's a tough look here in AppLovin, and just as Sharif was mentioning, we're down exactly at 49%, to be honest with you, from that previous pivot high, so almost 50% there, guys. 2026 guidance revenue between 1.74 billion and 1.77 billion, EBITDA around 1.46 to 1.49, shares fell 18%, and $371 amid AI competition fears, despite buybacks. I think that's really key in the street, not really liking that here, guys. 2.58 billion in buybacks in 2025, and the street not reacting very well to that.
Tell us about the Lunar New Year and how it relates to Alibaba, Sia.
Yeah, so Alibaba received over 120 million orders. Around 1.56 million users over age of 60 have made their first online purchases via Qwen. And it's on the Qwen platform. So Qwen has climbed into China's App Store rankings within hours of the launch and held the #1 spot from Feb 6th to 11th, which is crazy.
The most important thing for me here is that Baba is integrating Qwen on all its broader ecosystem apps and services. And that's kind of what you want to see, because you want AI to kind of, have its tentacles everywhere. We're talking about Taobao, Alipay, Fliggy, and Damai, and expanding the use cases beyond shopping. So we've been talking a lot about Qwen and the gains that it's been making, especially as you compare it to DeepSeek. Alibaba, to be fair, was a little bit late to the game. DeepSeek beat them to the punch, but Baba, with all its resources, currently playing the catch-up game and maybe even outdoing DeepSeek. I gotta tell you, I don't even think DeepSeek's that good. What I do like about this story, Joey, look at, they were able to finagle more than 1.5 million users over the age of 60 to make online orders using an AI model.
That's crazy.
So I don't know how grandmama, is your grandma, is she on that? She on AI?
Are you crazy?
I got my mom and my old man on AI.
Dude, are you crazy?
I'm not.
My grandma would...
She don't want nothing to do with that.
Nothing of the technology, trust none of it. I think that's a really important metric. And talk about monetization, using over 120 million orders were placed. I think that's really big. And that's why you're starting to see the chat GPTs integrated into some of these Shopify. You get linked automatically. Exactly. You can pay out through there. And these other LLMs, that's how you're going to monetize these, because you get a little bit of a piece of the pie. But we're seeing this through Qwen first, though. I think we don't see those numbers, I don't think, coming out of here.
No, we don't. And quite frankly, yes, you bring up a very very good point. Chat integrating with this company, integrating with that company, it's all gravy, it's all great. But think about those companies and what they got to give up to chat. When you're vertically integrated like Baba, sorry, Mr. Middleman.
Right? Exactly. See you, Mr. Middleman, word locking and more. Exactly.
Exactly. So I do like that about Alibaba and the fact that they are pretty much vertically integrated and they're building their AI around that. You got to love that. Guys, FSLY is taking out the high, 1675. The breakout is on, again here on FSLY Assassino. What a look this one has been. Your boy Joey Options was involved. I was involved. This thing is all gas, no brakes. It's up. It is the #1 gapper in all the market above $1. It is up 79.1%. What a move up with volume, mind you. 71 million shares traded, so you had ample liquidity. It's been a penny spread almost every time that I've looked at it. So fantastic look today for FSLY. I hope you guys were on that. Is that you, Ram? Did you guys see the Anthropic Super Bowl ChatGPT? I keep trying to get Brendo to watch it. He doesn't want to watch it. And it's hilarious, right? It's like this jack dude who's like answering in a robotic format, and then like he throws in an advertisement at the end, and it's like Claude or Anthropic dunking all over OpenAI. I loved it. It pissed off Altman so much he had to make a tweet about it to respond.
What did he say?
Well, it was like an essay. I didn't read the entire thing. I'm not a fan. I'm really falling
out of love with Altman.
Yeah, with Altman.
I just don't like all his funding rounds. Like, I think it's
Altman,
too much, man.
he's a sus.
Like,
he's suspicious.
Dude, it's like this thing is gonna have the valuation of this company is gonna have to come out so much more because, like, listen, if ChatGPT is valued at what, 900 billion, almost $1 trillion. So what does that add on top of Google for Gemini?
Well, you've seen the market cap acceleration for Google, so I think the market's rewarded them, right?
Well, has it fully? Because
maybe
if he
not
comes
fully,
out, if he's coming out at $1 trillion valuation, that means that Google's gonna have to be 5 trillion, at least.
Agree.
At least.
Agree.
Because if it's better.
Well, we already know. You and I both made the same prediction. Google's gonna be.
I just don't understand. It's hard for me, Gemini.
I hate you, Ram.
You know what that is? That's like that. What's that movie with
I hate
Joaquin Hurt? Yeah. That's what they're mocking you of, man. You got to put us side by side so we know what we're looking at.
Ram's gonna catch hands one day, bro. It's not gonna be from me, but she's gonna catch.
At least I got and in it, like and Joseph. So I made the credits on that one there.
All right, man.
Try me.
Thank you for that.
I made the credits on that.
Let's go back to see ya.
Okay, we're going to talk about SanDisk. So industry analysts have flagged a certain ongoing clean room shortage, which is limiting the ability to add new NAND equipment. And Kioxia, the global leader in flash memory, has reported a Q3 SSD and storage revenue up 7.8% year over year, which is 300.4 billion yen. And smart device sales have surged 59.1% year over year to 186.3 billion yen. And in Asia, Kioxia shares have jumped 12.4% with Samsung, which is up 6.4%, and SK Hynix up 3.3%. Now, SanDisk is heavily reliant on Kioxia for the NAND manufacturing, and the company has rallied 6.2% pre-market after a 10.7% prior day jump, and currently SanDisk is up 4.5%.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Is that Joaquin guy?
Yeah, it's a boy Joaquin, man. That's what she was. That's what she. Gemini.
Stop laughing, Neil.
Dude, show him one more time, man. That was great, man. It's really good.
This guy's dunking on me right now, man.
One more time.
All right. No, why, Joey? Let's show this one over here. Where is it at?
Yeah, what are you gonna hit there?
Wait, man. I'm trying to find it. There the market
moves like a
bro, you can't just back it up.
Yo, what? Oh, wow, I've never done that to you.
You can't just hit the flex on him.
Where's Feifei?
That's
He's
crazy.
gonna dunk on you right there. Get him, Feifei.
The video right now, subscribe to the
Who remembers Feifei?
Dunk on you.
Dunk on
you.
Yeah, there you go.
Subscribe, guys. Make sure to hit that
like. You like how I canceled that? You like how I canceled that quick, eh?
What an asshole. All right, SanDisk. So the fact of the matter is, number one, supply is short. There is a huge bottleneck in NAND, in not DRAM, in HBM, high bandwidth memory. They don't even have enough clean rooms to be able to produce it. That means that they're going to really have to increase efficiency. But the most important thing is, for me anyway, is the increase in margin expansion, excuse me. So if there is a bottleneck in inventory, that means I can dictate the price more than you can as the seller than the buyer, right? So to me, I'm looking for margin expansion until we start seeing a top, right? And how are we going to start noticing the top? Oh, there's a little bit more of unsold inventory. Oh, they added a couple of clean rooms. Oh, they got a couple of fabs that are producing this. So it's obviously going to be strong until it's not. The point is to try to pick up when you kind of feel maybe the headwinds coming on. I don't know how you feel about this. No. WDC, Micron, SanDisk, they're all up.
I think the inventory thing is where you really hit it on the head, Sharif. Once you start to see an increase and uptick in that is when things might start to cool off. I mean, it may be a little bit cyclical at that point, which we're currently seeing right now. It may cool down for a little while and pick back up, but just be cautious of this because SanDisk, SNDK up to $719. Only, well, I shouldn't say only, it's down 13%, but you have to take into consideration from the middle of the summer, you're up 1,743% there in SNDK.
Sorry, how much?
1,740, yeah.
From the middle of the summer?
Yeah, August 21st, 2025. Maybe
that's
the summer
crazy.
We'll call it. Yeah, August we'll call
that's
it.
crazy.
Even more, if you want to go back further, Sharif, just to pour a little bit of salt.
That's good.
Because you and I both don't own this thing 1,500% right there. Bang.
Oh boy. All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Next up, we're talking about AST Space Mobile. So AST priced $1 billion of 2.25% convertible senior notes that is due 2036 in a private offering. An initial conversion price was set at 116.30, representing a 20% premium to the recent 96.92 close. So this initial conversion rate is equal to 8.5982 shares per $1,000 of principal amount, and underwriters will have an option to purchase an additional 150 million of notes.
I don't want this raise. It's kind of like, a technology company that's, in its infancy, or I don't want to say it's in its infancy, well, relatively speaking, we don't know where this company is going to go. So I don't mind the raise. Obviously, that has a negative effect in the short term, maybe even the intermediate term. They're going to be using the funds for, and this is the good thing, accelerating global deployment of spectrum bands, monetizing proprietary AI-related technology, expanding U.S. government opportunities, reducing higher interest debt. You got to like that. Opportunistic investments, whatever the hell that means. The point is, Joey, this technology is on the way up. We talked about it yesterday. I asked you a specific point-blank question. Is it time to short the telecom companies or at least start to build a position? And you answered a very interesting response.
Yeah.
You think there could be partnerships between these type of companies.
It would be in their best interest because what are you going to do? If you don't adapt to the current situations and the evolving technology, you become the blockbusters of the world.
Exactly. Well
right? So, I mean, if you don't learn from other people's mistakes, essentially, what are you doing? We already know that they're already starting to get involved with the Canadian telecom. Is it Rogers getting involved with it as a little bit too? So once one starts to do it, then you essentially get everyone else to follow, especially when they start to fall behind drastically, right? So I think that's really important. I think these companies are too smart, and if they don't start to play catch up or make these collaborations, then you deserve to fail like Blockbuster did.
I agree. And here's my little 2 cents there. What we're talking about here, guys, is low Earth orbit satellites. ASTS is putting up very similar to Starlink, where they're going to be good for internet. And if you believe what people are saying and what some of the companies are saying, in fact, that it will be basically direct-to-cell service without any new hardware required on the phone. So you're going to be able to get 5G connectivity with these low Earth orbit satellites with low latency. And as someone who's used Starlink on a flight about a month ago, it's fantastic. It's by far blows away any internet I've ever used on an airplane, and it's not even close. It felt like being at home. I told you guys I was on YouTube videos. The entire 5-hour flight didn't feel like 5 hours. So that's what we're talking about there, and that's why we're saying, the telecom companies could get disrupted, this, that, and the other, because we didn't really preface that. So that's my look on AST Space Mobile, and we're going to go to Sia for the next topic.
McDonald's, McD has a Q4 adjusted EPS that came in at 3.12 versus the 3.05, which was expected. Revenue has hit $7.6 7 billion versus the 6.84 billion, which was expected. Net income has risen to 2.16 billion, which is 3.03 per share, up from 2.02 billion exactly a year ago. And revenue increased 10% year over year, which has improved traffic and stronger value. But the U.S. same-store sales have risen 6.8%, reversing a 1.4% decline. And McDonald's has sold 50 million pairs of socks globally during the Grinch promotion.
I like that. The socks are cool. What's that? Remember SanDisk? They're SanDisk, aren't they? I knew it. Yeah. So here's a little product from SanDisk. Obviously, it's not RAM, but there are the SD cards: 256 gigs, 128 gigs, 16 gigs, and 128. Thank you, RAM. So what I like about this is the push here. Apparently, Brendo, weren't you telling me something about GLP-1s and McDonald's today? They're making smaller form food to kind of ride the trend with the GLP-1 trade, or the GLP-1 fad, so to speak. So I like how McDonald's is alive to that. I also like how they're, looking to kind of have these discounts. They're alive to the fact that, people are having some trouble with the cost of living. They relaunched the extra value meals for about 15% discount. So you feel like McDonald's is kind of trying at least to be aware and not tone deaf with what's going on. I also like the fact that they're going to open up 2,600 new restaurants with 2,100 net additions expected to boost system-wide sales by about 2.5%. About 750 openings in the U.S. and operated markets, more than 1,800 via these licensees international. Those are the ones that are privately owned. So clearly they've got a growth trajectory here that is not really slowing down. Not bad. Not a company I know too much about or really follow all that much, but it seems to be, they seem to be kind of doing okay. What's the price at? Let's see what's MCD's at right now. Where are we at? We're up 2.18%. Let's just take a quick look over here. Are we at all-time highs? Let me just flip to the monthly so we can kind of get a better. This is all-time highs on McDonald's. So we're at all-time highs on McD's. McDick's. $333.38. All-time highs on McDonald's. Adara.
Oh, I accidentally put the wrong Ronald McDonald on my screen. But yeah, as I get the correct Ronald McDonald image that I'm trying to find here, and I'm not messing with you guys, Ronald McDonald will be in your screen and mine in 3, 2, 1. Basically what's happening here with McDonald's is I think this global comparable sales growth acceleration throughout the year is a really nice look. So in Q1 of 2025, we actually had a 1% year-over-year decline in comp sales growth. Then you kind of start to see it settle out here in Q2 and Q3, and then we end Q4 here with roughly 6% year-over-year growth in comp sales. So great look there for MCD. Now I want to talk here about the performance by region per quarter. So as you can see here, Q1, the only quarter that we actually had where we had positive comp sales growth, the only region was international developmental license markets. So not ones that are operated by the company, but ones where you've got licensing. Then you've got, honestly, in every quarter but Q4, the largest growth is in that international developmental licensed market area. So I kind of like this look here for MCD. It's showing like, hey, sure, obviously U.S. stores can hold their own quite well. And we saw that especially with the U.S. stores outpacing growth of other regions in Q4. But throughout the rest of this fiscal year, international developmental license markets revenue has held it down in terms of growth. Now, you might be wondering, why can I not yet find this infographic on X at TTV Research? What's wrong with me? It's not out yet. It'll be out just before 6 p.m. tonight on X at TTV Research. So if you want to see Ronald McDonald haunt your screen with some McDonald's charts, X at TTV Research just before 6 p.m.
Thank you very much, Adara. All right, we have another restaurant earnings report. Sia, tell us about it.
So restaurant brands Q4 adjusted EPS has come in at 96 cents versus the 95 cents that was expected. Net income has fallen to 113 million, which is 34 cents a share, from 259 million, which was 79 cents a share from a year ago. And net sales have risen 74% year over year. Organic revenue is up 6.5%, including FX and refranchising impacts. And international same-store sales sales have climbed 6.1%, which is well above the 3.7% estimate. And now, Tim Hortons has posted a 2.9% same-store sales growth, below the 3.8 sales estimate, my apologies. Burger King also overall same-store sales has risen 2.7%, topping the 2.4% forecast. But Tim Hortons remains the largest revenue contributor at 46% of the total sales. And Popeyes had the same store sales decline 4.8%, worse than the expected 2.4% drop. So now Popeyes remains the weakest link in their portfolio.
Yeah, before we go over here for everyone's takes, I want to talk about the market. U.S. President Donald Trump wearing a purple tie. Nice Jerome Powell reference here by U.S. President Trump. He is making an announcement here with EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. If there's any kind of market-related updates here, I will keep you posted, but it's always worth noting when Trump is talking, and he and his purple tie are currently making an announcement. Probably not market-related, but you really can never know. Back to you.
All right. Hey, there he is.
We're here.
Okay.
We're here.
Got the Katina man on.
We're filling in for Joseph over here.
Yeah, I got to look this way to look at you.
Yeah,
man.
I was going to say, like, yo, chill Dijon in the chat there, man. I mean,
Dijon's
we're
coming
proud of Tim Hortons over here. You know, people are saying that it got ruined when Burger King got involved over here. You know, QSR, also Popeyes as well for QSR. That's another brand over there. But yeah, welcome everybody. Me and Sharif, this is actually, I'm at my desk. See, like,
yeah.
This is
That's
magic.
why Randy's in both frames.
Right here, fake high five. Ready?
Oh, hold on.
There we go. Bang. Oh, actually, that was actually pretty good right there. But yeah, Joe's gone to physio here. But yeah, QSR, I mean, just another one of those names, Sia and Sharif, that, you know, it's back into potentially a key level, right? I mean, the retail side of things, and especially when you're talking about restaurants, goes through its sort of ebbs and flows, right? I mean, I think, Bert, like, we saw McDonald's today put out good numbers, right? So, and I know McDonald's, Burger King, I mean, if you're going to look at Wendy's actually going to the downside recently as well. Some of the names aren't all built the same, right? So you got, like, this is a $7 name here for Wendy's. We talked about it the other day, chicken tendies right there. And if you have those, then maybe you're holding on a little bit to Wendy's, but this move from $11 all the way down into $8. I mean, this is just another one of those names. When you compare and contrast, this is a $20 high. This is Wendy's, right? So look at McDonald's with their report today. I think you got to stick with the winners, Sharif, is what I'm sure.
All-time highs, Katina.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you rotate out, right? This is not like, it's almost sort of like an NVIDIA versus an AMD type of thing. If one is working, you stick with that name. If one's not working, you go the other way. So for me, I would say dump those QSR shares, get into a McDonald's because, hey, regardless of Joe not liking McDonald's or not, I mean, I can say whatever he wants, he's not here now. I like the stock, and I think you got to love a little bit of McDonald's there for today, all-time highs. I would think that switch is imminent if it's in your portfolio. Why not make that move? Get out of your QSR and back over into McDonald's.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And the chart does support that completely. Sean, you see McDonald's at all-time highs, QSR is not. What really stood out to me, though, for this specific report is that Tim Hortons remains the largest revenue contributor into a company that has multiple different brands. 46% of the revenue that they're bringing in at restaurant brands is a result of Tim Hortons. And then look at this. This is conflicting to me. Popeye's sales are down 4.8%. So if you were trying to make the case, oh, maybe people are looking for a bit more of a healthy tilt. Well, then how come Burger King's same-store sales are up 2.7%? Is Burger King healthier than Popeyes? So it seems like there is a shift in preference or somewhat, or they're dropping the ball, at least from an operational sense at Popeyes. So I'd like to see, I'd like a little bit more of an explanation as to why one fast food brand, unhealthy as it may be, Popeyes is doing, or Burger King is doing better than Popeyes. That doesn't sit well with me. But in either way, Tim Hortons posted same-store sales of 2.9%, even though we're singing the praise of Tim Hortons. That's almost 1% below what the street was looking for. The street was looking for 3.8. They printed 2.9. It's not a good look. Popeyes dropping 4.8% in sales, and the street was actually looking for 2.4%. So exactly double the decline in sales for Popeyes. Doesn't look good to me. I'd agree 100% with Sean. I'd be putting my money into McDonald's if I was forced to choose one of these fast food players, Sia.
So now we have Anheuser-Busch. Q4 EPS came in at 88 cents versus the 85 cents that was expected. Revenue has risen 4.8% year over year to 15.6 billion. And for 2025, AB InBev expects EBITDA growth of 4 to 8% between that range. And Q1 earnings are projected at 88 cents per share. Emerging markets also have delivered 55.1% volume growth in Q4, while beer volumes rose 1.9% overall. And the total company volume, however, has declined 3.7% in the quarter. And China was cited as a key laggard due to certain weak demand. But Bud Light volumes have improved in Q4. Brand is still recovering from certain prior backlash, and Michelob Ultra has surpassed Bud Light in the U.S. share by volume.
Wow.
Tina, man.
No, I was going to say, like, I said to Sharif, like, what stock are we doing here? Because Budweiser, this is not a name that we've looked at often. Whatever happened to, like, the whole death of, like, fatty foods and like people not drinking anymore because all of a sudden, you know, these GLP-1s, and they're doing a great job, obviously suppressing, you know, the need for that. And I would say, you know, that's an awesome thing what the GLP-1s are doing, especially for those that are battling, you know, different addictions and whatnot. But, you know, I guess that we saw Pepsi make moves higher, Coke battling back after not a great quarter, but they were at highs when they got hit there. You know, a lot of people thought that there would be maybe a switch over to cannabis or, you know, other alternatives to enjoy sort of your evening rather than, or any event, rather than beer. But, you know, Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch there just continues. I mean, how many days in a row now? You're talking like 1, 2, 3, 4, you're talking like 20 days up and breaking out, and it's already broke out, man, this $72 mark. So I guess the death of, you know, alcoholic and high-calorie drinks may be overstated a little bit anyways with Budweiser. That name continues to work. So I think it's just, I wonder what the short float is on this name because, let me just double check this. And I wonder if that's part of the move here. So here's our Benzinga Pro platform. Let me just double check what the short float looks like. It's small, nothing, zero, well, less than 1% short. So yeah, just a great quarter, some great numbers there. I like the international growth. We've talked about the EEM a couple of times, Sharif. Everything that's happening in the US is not necessarily happening worldwide. So it's nice to see this extension for Budweiser. And hey, if I go to a baseball game, nothing better than having a nice cold drink, watching one of those. So yeah, Budweiser, very surprising to me. I had no idea. This is the cool thing about the show, Sharif, especially when you guys are doing these segments. It brings to light many other names that we've never even considered to look at. Like, I look at the Nasdaq today and literally want to throw up. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us do. I'm well, you know, overweight on tech names, but why not get some Budweiser in your life, man? Crack one open, but that's a good move, up to $80 on Bud.
And I was going to agree with you, Katina, man. Like, the data is suggesting that people are drinking less, right? So if you were, you know, to think, okay, well, let's take a look at all-time highs. You know what? When those all-time highs were back in 2016. Yes, October 2016, that was $135 a share, okay? And then you could also make the argument there was a political headwind for Bud as well. We all remember that whole thing with Dylan Mulvaney and how some, you know, in certain political circles reacted to that. And we saw an aggressive sell-off. I think it lost about 30% of its value on that. It pretty much recovered that entire thing, a V-shaped retracement, and went on to break highs. What I do like about this chart, Katina, man, is it looks like it might be breaking trend here. It's had a local area top, let's say around $70 at the high, and that takes us back to the COVID top in June of 2021. We're right there right now. So if we can take out that decisively, I do like our chances of possibly getting to 100, if not even that 105 that we saw back in July of 2019. But I still think that there is a general headwind for Bud if people are going to continue to drink less, if more people, as Sean was mentioning, are going to go on these GLP-1s. And by the way, an off-label use for GLP-1s is substance abuse issues, right? A lot of, you know, people are getting prescribed GLP-1s who have addiction issues. So this could be yet another play into that. So I don't know. Right now, you're seeing a great move up on Bud. It's breaking out through technical levels, but I think there may be still a longer-term headwind if people do not consume their product. We'll have to wait and see. See ya.
So we're talking about Birkenstock now. Q1 EPS has come in at 27 versus 26, which was expected, meeting the estimates. Revenue totaled 401.9 million euros, which is up 17.8% constant currency. And America's revenue has risen 14%. There's just showing continued brand traction. EMEA has increased 17%, and APAC has surged 37%.
Man, what's your take on Burke? I mean, it looks ugly. The chart looks like absolute hot garbage. I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about this. You know, my toes are nothing to look at, but you know, heading into the spring and summer, I think this, everything all right? I think this name could get.
I had to process that.
All right, it's all good. You know, I think this name can get going. I mean, you're right back to where we IPO'd. I mean, you know, are things actually fundamentally wrong with the stock? It doesn't sound like it with those numbers. We did have a couple decent days to the upside here for Burke. It's only down 1.2% now. I think, you know, this 36.45, that is the, you know, 52-week, if not all-time low coming in there. So I actually like the long back in a name like this. And we always say it's easier to buy stock when it's, you know, going up and you play with the trend. The trend is definitely down. It's not like this is going to be, you know, an amazing stock to hold. But I think it might be worth it. See if there's any sort of new designs coming. And I don't know enough about this business, but sometimes it just takes one little hot sandal. And we've seen that with Deckers and UGG and things like that. And it's just like, if you create something that people want to buy, the margins are quite high. You know, like, what does a sandal go for? 120 bucks?
I was about to say to you, my mom just picked up some, man. She paid almost close to $200.
There you go. So, I mean, it's like the margin on those must be unreal. And like, I know in my house, when something starts, you know, making the rounds on Instagram or social media or something like that, there's a lot of money out there to buy certain things. And I think Birkenstocks, people love the brand. It's been around forever. And it's right at its IPO price. So if you feel like you missed the move, you get an opportunity to buy it. So for me, I'll stamp a money on Birkenstock. I think you could probably take it here against its quarter and see if it takes out that 36.50 all-time low.
I like that. And here's kind of my look at this. Remember we talked about Nike, and we talked about Nike getting away from that direct-to-consumer push by, you know, trying to put most of their in-demand products in the Nike store and online, kind of leaving Foot Locker, Dick's Sporting Goods on this side of the border, Sports Check and some others, JD Sports. Well, not everybody is following that model, and Birkenstocks is one of them. Their revenue jumped 24% in constant currency, and they're accrediting, I should say, wholesale strength. So not bad. And then you look to their direct-to-consumer channels. How are they doing it on that? Is wholesale doing better at the expense of DTC? And that's not happening because their DTC sales increased 12%. So they're doing it live on both, and that's something we haven't seen with some of the other shoe companies. So I kind of like that with respect to it. Now, let's talk about their gross margins, because Sean brought up a very important point. These things are quite expensive relative to some others. It's actually quite good. 57.4% on a physical product is not all that bad. It's not NVIDIA-esque in the mid-70s, but physical products typically have lower margins than software, SaaS, etc., where the margin is a little bit higher. So I like that look. I don't like the chart whatsoever. This is the chart here, and as Sean said, we're right back at the IPO lows. We got as high as, I believe, that was the week of August the 26th of 24. The high of which was 64.78. It hasn't seen anything like that as of recent. See ya.
We're going to talk about Unilever. Q4 underlying sales growth has come in at 4.2% ahead of its 3.9% estimate, and turnover has risen to 12.6 billion euros, which is $14.96 billion for the quarter. Management has also expected a full year underlying sales growth at the lower end, between 4 to 6%. Also, developed market growth has slowed to 1.7%, with certain weaker volumes in the U.S. and in Europe. Unilever is slimming down its brand portfolio, which is targeting underperforming European food assets.
All right, yeah, Unilever, UL on the stock symbol.
Sir.
I just, there was, what's up to Aura Alpha there in the chat, Rhyme, Sharif. I know this is probably something that you guys have been trading here in the midday. Is this something you and Joe are looking at?
No,
okay, so just mentioning it here, it just started popping like basically 11 o'clock. It almost feels like it was like out of nowhere just made this move up. This is the name is Algorithmic Holdings. I don't know why it's rhymed like that. I'm not sure if it was switched over from the name switch or something to try to get it going as algorithmic trading has been pretty hot as of late. But I just want to bring it to everyone's attention because you had mentioned there, or Alpha, like, you know, get this in your account. But now you're underneath VWAP, starting to break lower. And I just want to bring it to everyone's attention that you'll watch out for this $1 break, you know, right here as something that could possibly, you know, give you, like, even if it breaks $1 and it gets a 95, like, that's 5%. So, you know, be careful with that kind of a trade. Rhyme right now, whipping around. Yeah, so Unilever, this just goes back to a stock that I think can work in this space. I mean, we've talked about this. Anything that really can't be disrupted by AI, I think has a real good base case to be in your portfolio, right? I mean, we've talked about Procter & Gamble. We've talked about a lot of these names over the last month or so. And again, just like Budweiser, right? You don't need to enjoy Budweiser to enjoy the stock. You know, whether or not you know a Unilever product or not, this is an upside play, and it looks like it's trying to get going again. And if we zoom this out even to a longer time frame, this kind of reminds me of just a monster incoming break again. Like, look at XLE, look at what happened on silver and gold and all this once we finally broke through some levels. Now, this doesn't have the memory of the past ones because this only goes back to 2024 right there. But this high incoming, I think a break makes a lot of sense. And I really like AI for these names. And the reason why is that they're making them more efficient. They're not necessarily coming for their business. What they're coming for is to improve their business, making them more efficient, making distribution better, making production better, all of that. Unilever, I think, again, if it's something you can hold in your hand, I think it's a winner for the next couple months.
I like it as well, Sean. And especially we've seen a lot more of a buoy or a move up with these defensive names, these consumer defensive stocks. My only concern is, you know, inflation-related headwinds. We've been seeing a lot of people trade down. They're not buying the name brand, they're buying the in-store brand, or they're, you know, getting something entirely different. That is my concern. And we're actually seeing that in North American markets, in developed markets. Developed market growth slowed 1.7%. Food sales by Unilever were driven by emerging markets. Developed markets remained flat. So makes me wonder why. Are they not experiencing food inflation in emerging markets? Why is it specifically the developed world is having the problem with that? Secondly, we're going to go to Adair in a second. The company is obviously going through a structural change. They completed the spin-offs of its ice cream business, Magnum Ice Cream, and they've closed 10 transactions since early 2025, including the sale of like Vegetarian Butcher and Graze. So they're clearly trying to offload certain labels, probably to right-side the company. You know, whether or not that has anything to do with the food inflation and the demand shift that is as a result of that, you know, your guess is as good as mine. But that's kind of my take there. We're going to go to Adair.
So to let you guys know, U.S. President Trump started taking questions at this EPA event, basically just about rolling back some of these regulations. So far, he has discussed windmills during the Q&A and not much else. So again, some windmill-related comments, but just be aware, once again, Trump, not only is he speaking, now he's actually taking questions, and then we can kind of usually start to get some more market-moving things away from whatever he's talking about. So if that does happen, you know I'll keep you posted. Back to you.
Much for that. All right, so... No, we're done. It is
we're wrapping it up.
Katina, man, I know, man. You and I haven't been on together since you know who left, and we had to fill in the midday. So it's great being on with you. Obviously, Katina, man, thank you for coming on
so fast.
With your time there and filling in. I appreciate you coming.
The only problem is now I got Randy to get me a coffee instead of me getting my own. So yeah, just say, look, man, awesome to be on here. And I've told you a lot that I really like the format of going through stories, especially in the midday when trading can be a little lighter and then interrupted if there's any kind of moves going on. So hey, I'm just right beside you most days, man. You can always call on me. So
I appreciate you, Katina, man. All right, I'm done over here. I'm gonna go up to the big desk. It's gonna be CNI, but this way is a Katina, man.
I'm on again?
Neil.
Oh God.